All right,
Well,
Khan.
we've missed Josh.
Khan, you are good to go. Start with the strong wind blew through my hair.
A
This is
strong
Angie.
wind blew. A strong wind blew through my hair. My nose was filled with the smell of the sea. I must have been standing still for a very long time. This is a point cutting through the sea. I was standing on the bow of a boat. I was still holding that.
Lady, if you stand around too long, you'll freeze.
Moxa. So, this is. Captain Kawabata's face peered.
Peered out at her.
You can see it now. That's the old Ashiramiya family dock.
Well, not even a trace of it left.
I see. So, I've come back here. It's been a really long daydream. No, a long and windy side trip. No matter what sort of tales are woven or written about the past, they have nothing to do with my tale of the future. I swore to live life looking only at the future without turning back. If swearing that has a purpose, then this hasn't all been just a daydream. And besides, I've brought many things back with me from that long side trip. Some of those are even immediately useful. But yeah, this isn't going to do me much good. I threw the Beatrice doll into the ocean.
What was that?
My regrets. I've shed my old self.
So, with old Rokujima right in front of you, you're having a change of heart?
That's not what I meant. I mean, I've had enough of being human.
Hmm?
I won't waste that long journey. I now have a new way to live. And that isn't as the human called Ushirimiya Anji. I am reborn.
Captain. That's you.
Captain, sorry, but would you mind leaving for a second?
Hmm? Sure, whatever you say.
Captain Kawabata went down into the divers area.
What is it, lady? Why have a troubled face?
Feel like taking a step into a new life.
You already have.
True. If I could sell off all the Ushirimiya family wealth that's burning me, maybe donating it to some charity, that would be a huge relief. Then I'd finally be able to escape from the shell called Ushirimiya Anji.
Just like a waste of all that money. You could do anything you wanted with it.
Who cares? My point is that I don't need it.
That may be true. Then again, not everything that you've been selling off belongs to you exclusively. For example...
Are you talking about the Ushirimiya Group's stock?
That's right. They may be a little more than scraps of paper to you, but doing something like that could shatter the whole company. I don't think my boss could bear to have that happen.
Yeah, I know. It's like that for the Sumaderas and President Okanogi alike. There are plenty of people who are in a tough spot because I can do as I please.
There's no doubt you're a VIP, Anji-san. Wouldn't it be better to chill out and hide away for now? And hold off from doing anything flashy?
What would be the fastest and most convenient way to prevent this VIP from doing as she pleases, I wonder?
Hey, that's a good question. Well, we could break up at drinks, tell each other our deepest secrets, and...
Anyone could guess that the final destination of my journey is Rokenjima. And, right now, Rokenjima is completely uninhabited. There's no one there. No one to see or to hear. This is the perfect day for a closed room.
Yeah, that may be true. Well, yeah.
The Sumadera family is chasing me. They even managed to barge into President Okanoki's building with perfect timing. Someone leaked the fact that I was there.
You say my boss sold you out. Well, why would he give you a bodyguard?
Since he doesn't know what sort of whims I'm going to act on. President Okanogi wants to have both the Sumadera family and me indebted to him. That way, he can sell information about me, let it slip away by a hair, and keep track of my whereabouts, putting both me and the Sumadera family in his debt while keeping a trump card in his hand.
You're definitely overthinking things there.
Whoopsies. Amakusa wore a forced smile trying to smooth things over.
We can be sure that the Sumadera family is chasing me. My actions are being intentionally leaked to them. Then, we'll bump into each other on Rokanjima. I will be killed by them. After that, you will kill the Sumadera hitmen. And President Okanogi will have a trump card to use in negotiations with the Sumaderas. If I die, the Ishimiya group will be stable for the time being. Plus, they'll be able to draw the line with the Sumadera family. On the other side, the Sumadera family itself will be able to neatly do away with Aunt Kasumi, the leader of their overenthusiastic radical faction. Both sides will finish their bargaining with a draw and everyone will be happy.
Yeah. Woo. That's a pretty interesting story you thought up there.
That golf bag you brought with you. I've had a look at what's inside. Are you planning to start a war or something with all those guns? It had a sniper rifle in it. Would a bodyguard who's always by my side really need something like that?
Well, you never know what might happen. And besides, sniper rifles go with my shoes.
No, they don't. Why would a bodyguard, who works best when traveling light, choose to abandon his position for a whole day to get a gun like that, right before we leave for Rokenjima?
Lady, you're overthinking things, okay?
When I reach Rokenjima, you'll suggest that I go visit the place they died or something, getting me on my own. That's the bait. The bait to lure in Sumadera Kasumi and the others waiting for me on Rokenjima. After that, you'll use the ridiculously huge gun to round them up. The end.
Well, what's wrong with rounding them up? Isn't that what a guard's supposed to do?
In addition to a cutting-edge sniper rifle, you also had a modern German submachine gun.
Those are really handy. No matter how many people the Sumateras have, I can clean them all up, no trouble.
There was one more. A handgun. Even though the sniper rifle and the submachine gun were the best newest models, the handgun alone was beat up and old-fashioned. See?
Angie pulled the handgun out and pointed it at Amakusa.
Cut it out! This isn't funny.
A handgun is something you're always supposed to have on your person, right? So why would you go get a second handgun? And such an unusually old one. One theory can explain this. What if it's the same kind of gun Sumadera Kosumi and the others are using? This is a Tokarev. A gun once used by the Soviet military and which has gotten pretty popular in the Japanese underground. It's exactly the sort of weapon the Sumaderas might be using. Also, having Tsunamita Kosumi die would be inconvenient for the Sumadera family as well. They could have leaked, now, exchanged information on their end as well. Therefore, it's possible he knew beforehand that the Sumadera hitmen would be using Tokarevs.
Amakusa was speechless. Was he speechless because this was all true, or because he was stunned by the determination with which Angie pointed that gun at him?
The plan that plan that all of you made together. It was to use me as bait to lure Sumadera Kosumi to an uninhabited island, setting it up so that both sides appear to finish each other off. That way everything would be nicely settled and neat for both President Okanogi and the Sumadera family.
A single line of cold sweat dripped down Amakusa's forehead. With the wind whipping through her hair, Angie spoke coldly.
Just by the presence of this handgun. See how far Ushiramiya Anji's reasoning has taken her. What do you think? What do you think, everyone?
You haven't taken the safety off.
I know.
Oh, whoops.
Tokarevs don't have safety.
Amakusa tried to dive behind cover, but he couldn't have on a bullet. It shot into his gut, making him double over in pain. Angie, who knew that he had a gun hidden in his pocket, then eliminated his chance of a counterattack. Blood spurted from Amakusa's forehead, and he did not close his eyes again.
There's a perfect, certain way to confirm someone's death without a doctor. And it's the easiest one in the world.
You.
Kawabata stuck his head out, and his face went pale when he saw the gruesome scene on the deck. This time, Angie pointed the barrel of the gun at his forehead.
Before we left, you said you needed a bit more time to get the boat ready. However, if you've been bought, then we can say for sure that you were buying time so that Sumadera Kosumi could set up her ambush on Rokenjima.
No idea what you're talking about.
You're a cat box, inside of which is a Kawabata who was bought and betrayed, and a Kawabata who hasn't betrayed me. Now then, how can I kill the one who betrayed me?
Stop! Don't shoot!
I just have to shoot the whole cat box to death.
The boat's owner slumped over backwards and fell. Then, with a second bullet, she performed a perfect examination of his corpse. She had survived. Surely she had survived the web-like conspiracy that had been wrapped around her so cleverly. And she returned to the bow of the boat, faced that strong wind head-on, and peered into the future in front of her. The boat whose owner was gone headed towards the endless horizon, on and on in a straight line. She prayed that the truth that she had desired to reach lay before her, Then she heard the sound of clapping. The sound of clapping on a boat where Amakusa and the captain were no more. However, Angie didn't look surprised. She calmly and slowly turned around.
Splendid reasoning, Comrade Angie. My fellow witch of truth, Angie Beatrice.
Oh, you're here, Erica.
Anytime someone wants to expose the truth, you'll find me there.
Hey, Erica.
What?
The boat had already passed by Rokenjima. The island silhouette was now off in the distance. The boat headed toward the endless horizon, continuing on its endless journey. The new Witch of Truth announced the beginning of this endless journey to her fellow witch.
I'll carve out my future in my own way.
Sounds splendid.
At the end, will there be a truth for me to find?
Just what sort of truth could you be looking for after all this?
You're right. I know that the truth isn't worth anything. And there's one more thing I figured out.
What's that?
That bewildered look on Amakusa's face when his skin was exposed. That was pretty good.
Good duh!
It's also you.
Duh.
Damn, good group work.
And that's the fake ending.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
This song is pretty good,
So,
though.
what exactly is her goal after killing them?
Literally
He's just gonna go boating.
imagine if the stuff that happened with Angie post the stuff that happened with Angie like during the episode 4 stuff and episode 6 was actually the truth, basically.
Oh yeah, like I wrote down in notes, like I guess those scenes were like after the story.
Yeah, I assumed it was like just an abandoned plot line because it never really got resolved.
I didn't think it was abandoned. I just thought, well, until like we got to the end.
It was more or less. It was more or less an Angie. It was more or less like an Angie plot engine.
Timeline and Homestuck.
Oh god.
There's Doom timelines and things that aren't Homestuck. Con.
I mean, I don't even think it's really a Doom timeline. It's just a weird
XCOM.
split.
XCOM has the Doom timeline.
So I guess she'll go fuck over Okanogi at some point. I guess that's her goal.
Well, I can cross
That.
that.
Would have to be in a fanfic or some
At
kind
any
of
rate.
sequel bait or something.
At any rate,
Yeah, I can cross the what happened with the Sumaderas off my Q&A.
because the
There you
answer
go.
is they never mattered.
Did we ever get an answer on the what was on the boat that she saw that was so crazy?
Wait, oh, you mean the fucking
Oh,
the shop?
Yeah, that's a
beforehand?
good question. We'll get to that.
All
we'll get to
right,
that
cool.
later.
I wasn't sure if that was answered yet.
Anyways,
Also,
filmed in front of a
the-
live studio audience. It's the Umineko. Oh yeah, very good. One more stream.
Question in the
Never agreed to this name.
in the last thing that we're going to read, is Hideyoshi in it?
No.
Barely.
Oh yeah, but
There's actually
yeah,
3
barely a
times as
smidge.
much Nanjo.
All right. Well, I guess this is Hideyoshi's last strum.
Please
Oh,
don't
wow.
do that.
All right.
Please don't do that.
Only the true fans. Only the true fans can get that joke.
Bam.
wasn't that loud.
You gotta understand, I have you guys up at fucking max volume because Umineko is really loud
sorry.
by default.
Sorry, maybe I should have been a bit farther back.
The place for great jokes is the Saga Song of Beaglesaurus, a book that's everywhere available.
I'm
at
very
any time.
sorry.
It's fine. At any
I
rate,
didn't realize just how much you had us up.
so here, let me just go ahead and put some nice Erica-themed music on, because today this is the Erica stream, to put it bluntly. So let me just go ahead and put on some Deep Blue Gear again. We'll put on the Deep Blue Year 2011 mix.
Put on
That
the Great Detective now.
Oh, actually, yeah, Great
So-
Detective knows, sure.
Where do we start first?
Episode
Well-
1,
Well,
obviously.
they are gonna
Well,
start.
no. Okay, hold on. Don't worry. We have everything planned out and scheduled for you guys. Don't worry about it. So the first thing that we're going to be dealing
What about
with.
future Ruby?
Shut up.
All right, so here we're gonna go ahead and put. We got Great Detective Nose blasting right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull up a PNG of Erica really quickly.
Jesus.
Make it a funny
When
one.
do I get to fight you, Orange?
That'll be
Shit,
during the Q. That'll be during the Q&A
Q&A.
section.
See, I'm looking at this thing that you posted, this map of the worlds. Is the Higurashi fragments and Rose Gun Days world are in the Umineko verse, or is this a joke?
Don't worry about
It's
it.
not the
Gets right here.
Umineko verse.
Don't look at that
And
section.
you can
Don't
see,
worry
and you
about
can
that
see how they're
section.
completely unrelated.
Everyone tried to
Yeah.
gaslight me.
No,
They are-
actually, don't worry about that section. Do you see
I
how
mean-
they're completely not connected to the Umineko part of this section?
Mhm.
Yeah, now
They're
you're
like-
making me connect fragments. How
No,
could you?
dude,
It's,
just because
I imagine it's like Stephen King, where all of his books technically take place in the same
I
world.
don't believe you. That sounds like
It doesn't
bullshit.
matter. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter that they all take place in the
Mhm.
same universe.
yeah, it just matters that they all
was-
take place
Need to
in
nuke
fucking
Maine.
Maine, 'cause that's where
Mhm.
he lives.
There might be a few things that matter. We can discuss that later, but that is
Mhm.
not important to Umineko
Mhm.
That's fair.
in the grand.
You know what?
scheme
Here,
of
you know what we're just gonna
Umineko?
do. You know what we're just gonna
You guys wanna
fucking
watch
do.
Stephen King
You know
novels?
what? Here.
Think of it later for Halloween.
things. What are you doing?
There we go. I just have the.
Oh, you did
Okay, here. I'm just gonna
Let's
go ahead and
talk
loop the
over
Great
Colin.
Detective Nose on screen now.
Ooh.
So, so we have a few things planned for you guys. Don't you dare worry your pretty little heads about a thing. So let's go ahead and start with the basics because, so there's one thing that we're going to introduce at the very, very beginning of this before we go into the breakdown by each episode, and that is what is called, I believe it's like the last confession. What's the specific word for it?
Are you talking
Confessions
about
of the
manga?
Golden Witch?
Confessions of the Golden
Yeah.
Witch. Yeah, so that's the first thing we're going to be breaking down really quickly. So let me just go ahead and pull that up.
Get the required reading.
Confessions of the Golden Witch is a bonus
Yeah.
section that was introduced into the manga that helps that is a manga only arc that helps explain certain aspects of the true culprit, Seiyo Yasuda's life.
In the manga, it is placed between when Angel's consciousness in the City of Books and before she wakes up in the Golden Land, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we're going to go ahead and break down some of the simpler aspects of this. I'm not going to read out the entire plot synopsis; that would be insane. But
Still
let me
link
just,
though.
Word.
so here, I will just
I
go.
would.
I'll go ahead and bust the link into the chat so you guys can read along. So that for any parts I might have missed. So
Oh, thank
basically,
you.
just it goes over
You
some. I'm trying to sound like
Do you
a
not
smidge.
just want to post the manga?
Actually, no, yeah, just
Listen.
put the manga in there. Yeah, go ahead.
Don't
Never mind,
just
get
be
rid of that.
saying your illegal activities out loud. What's wrong?
I
with
mean,
you?
don't you just want to take it? No, is that legal? Are you allowed to take pictures of manga?
It's okay. It's just a
All
link
right,
to an
so we
Amazon
will-
page where you can buy
Let's
them.
So to put it-
let me.
Well, okay, so here. So to put it
For a
bluntly,
couple of pages, it's if you try to illegally reproduce them for monetary gain or anything like that.
Okay,
then
okay,
it
so-
becomes a problem.
all right, let me just go ahead and break this
Copyright
down
law,
in the
man.
easiest way possible. Basically, this is basically just kind of like sweeping over the original version of episode 7, which kind of goes into like how Seiyo came to be for the most part, or like kind of like what kind of drove them to where they were. But it kind of cuts out the magical aspect. Like it's very like upfront and
That is not
realistic
entirely
about it.
correct, but
not,
sure.
not entirely correct, but like it's sort of like it kind of talks
Yeah.
about like how like how Seiyo suffered abuse while over the Fukuin house. Seiyo essentially created a Gap as the first incarnation of the witch, Beatrice, all that kind of fun business. Let's see then. Yeah, she met Battler, all that kind of stuff happened. We can break into kind of like the more, I guess, important stuff, because I posted the Beatrice chart in Umineko episode 8 a little while ago, and the general implication is that essentially Shannon and Canon are made-up alternate personas, not personalities, personas of Seiyo, that they used to carry out the various murders on Rokkenjima, which is how some certain story elements kind of work, because they mention that Shannon dies, and yet they're still kind of able to move around. That's because Seiya was also Beatrice.
Okay, so may I make a question now, or do you want to get all the words out first?
We're going to go ahead and get all the words out first really quickly. So the general term for describing like the weird amalgamation that is Shannon, Canon, and Beatrice is Shikanintress. And that is just kind of like the very easy way to go around it.
I
And
hate
also,
that.
shut up. And we can go about some of the more basic stuff, like for example, it doesn't necessarily, I don't recall if it goes into this too much during the VN. I don't think it does. But basically, when Seiya was a baby and got pushed off that cliff by Natsuhi, as well as the additional servant.
She's the baby, by the way.
Yeah, she's the baby. Yeah, she's the well. There, he's the man from 19 years ago, to put it bluntly. So when they got knocked off the cliff as a baby, they did not die, but the
Also,
generals got horrible. Oh, okay.
They are the child of Kinzo and Beatrice Generation 2 that lived in Kuwadorian.
If you
This is
wanna
where the baby came from.
Here, you just post the Beatrice chart again. That'll help you. That'll help these guys out, basically. But yes, so when they fell off the cliff, they did not die, but the genitals were horribly mutilated. So they did not know what, like, essentially what gender they were. So for the longest stretch of time, they had very deep and distinct gender euphoria, dysphoria. My mistake.
The exact opposite.
Yeah, no, the exact opposite. They kind of grew up with, I believe they grew up like looking and acting more feminine, and they were kind of like taught to be a girl. But as they were getting older, they did not develop like primary female sex characteristics.
Secondary.
So that's kind of when secondary. My mistake. So they kind of started to get that they started to kind of have like that, dysphoria and all that stuff, which kind of explains why Shannon was created to a certain degree, because Shannon was like the ideal example of what a woman is to Seiya. I'm sorry, the word is dysmorphia.
Yeah.
That was dysphoria. Was it
That
not
explains
dysphoria?
why they
I mean,
don't-
a large part of our issues were that. Okay.
Oh wait, is it because of the body actually like being the physical part?
That is
Yes. We don't know precisely everything the reason, but it
Mm-hmm.
is assumed that the surgery that saved their life is also damaged their sexual organs, and as a result, they didn't develop properly.
that
So,
explains.
Okay.
That ex-
So in addition to this, really quickly, we're keeping going. During the situation, no, we're
Just
we're
write down,
just gonna go ahead and keep this going. Yeah. During
we're
this whole
gonna
situation,
write it
while they were
down
kind of
and
trying to
later.
like, when they were trying to cope with like the body dysmorphia, they all started dressing up as a boy, which is where the canon personality came from. More than that, I also forgot to mention that during the whole surgery to keep the baby alive and the mutilation stuff, they also took off their polydactylid because they were born with the same thing that Kinzo has.
They had 6 toes.
So they had 6 toes for a while. There was a brief stretch of time where, like, what is it? I believe their feet get, like, their shoes get damaged or something, and Kinzo happens to notice Seiya not wearing shoes and sees the
Theo
scar.
accidentally drops tea on herself and has to take her shoe off.
And I believe that's what kind of set up the whole thing for making the epitaph, because Kinzo deliberately made this in such a way that Seiya would probably end up solving it, so that he kind of...
He made it in a way because he knew that Genji fucking knew to kind of set it up. And that
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why Genji also decided to give out like various hints. Like they kind of show that very briefly during the VN.
Genji walks around with quote-unquote Shannon and Kennen and reveals information about Kinzo and what's the country? Taiwan.
Taiwan. Formosa.
As a hint towards them, so to help them solve the epitaph.
But yeah, what is it? And then of course there's also a lot of various other things you can kind of get into, because what is it? Seiya was told about the nature of their birth after finding out everything about the fact that like the whole like confrontation with Kinzo in his study.
And as a result, they realize that they are born of Kinzo and their quote-unquote sister, as well as that the 3 people they fell in love with, which are Battler, George, and Jessica, are all in fact their cousins.
Yikes.
Yeah.
This
So yeah, what is
family
it?
sucks.
During a
family
certain
fucking
point,
sucks.
yeah, during a certain
The
point,
mega yikes, man.
Sayo needs to cover up Kinzo's death to hide the fact that Kraus has been embezzling funds from Kinzo's estate.
Yes. Once they solve the epitaph, Genji realizes that and sets them up looking like the classic Beatrice and shows them to Kinzo. Kinzo gives them tells them the name Lion, asks them to call him Dad, and dies immediately afterwards.
Wait, how does the name Leon work again?
Leon
That's
is the
the
name
name-
Kinzo would have gave the child
Okay.
if he could.
And then of course we have the whole scenario of like they're kind of like they still have these weird conflicting feelings for the two people, George and Jessica. Their personalities kind of fight over this for a while, and then of course they receive the news that Battler's coming back, which is going to further gives Sayo a lot more stress and a lot of like conflict internally. And then I believe this is kind of like what sets up for the overarching like idea for murder plots. I'm giving a very rough outline. You feel free to cover in the blanks for me. Like this is very helpful. Thank you. And this is kind of like where we get into the various message bottles that popped up. The first two were written by Sayo. The ones that you see, the first
Episodes 1 and 2.
Episodes 1 and 2
ones
were
that
written
say they're
by
from
Sayo.
Maria.
Yes, the ones that say they were written by Maria. Those are Sayo's. Everything else was written by Hachijo Toya. So technically it was Itoi Kukuro and technically Battler, but it was more or less it was Toya trying to
It
process.
sounds like
his
it could be a
memories.
crime.
A little bit, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is a
I could
crime.
post a funny goat thing. Actually, I haven't done.
Mhm.
What's the crap? What?
Tampering with evidence, I guess, or tampering with.
No, they didn't tamper with the
They didn't
evidence.
tamper with evidence.
Wait,
Yeah.
isn't
just created
Hachicho
their
writing
own
out
evidence.
message models saying that?
Hachicho wrote what are called forgeries.
Yeah.
She wrote essentially fan fiction.
Yeah.
Okay,
A lot of
I
people
was
did
saying
that, not
that
just
she was
her.
like straight up like writing, like trying to trick people into thinking they were real, or was she?
Yeah, that's forgery.
Well,
Is it
okay,
forgery?
so Sayo decided on a set of rules, and according to those rules, wrote a bunch of different possible situations that would occur on the island on those days.
Mm-hmm.
Two of
So-
those were the
Motive
two
was
episodes of
doing that.
what? Originally she prepared for every situation that could possibly happen.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
And
nowadays
basically,
Ikiko would be running a true crime podcast.
Absolutely.
okay, so you remember the whole thing with the roulette and letting it decide, and that's the source of magic, quote unquote. So,
Yeah.
as far as Sarah was concerned, she basically set up the roulette. Everything was essentially out of their hands, and she decided ahead of time how she would act no matter what situation occurs. And those were all the different messages.
Possibilities, yeah.
All the
She
possibilities.
threw out a whole bunch of bottles, but only 2 of them were found.
Yeah.
And Hachijo Toya realized a set of rules that she went by, and as a result, that's why forgeries were so good, I guess, so realistic.
yeah.
So because they were indeed accurate to the actual originals.
There's a formula to it.
And writing out these message bottles eventually gave Toya this like kind of like deeper understanding of the mystery of Rokonjima and kind of like processing his feelings and going through all that fun stuff. It was a weird, horrible coping process essentially, which is kind of an overarching theme of Umineko.
Yeah.
So Sayo's goal in doing that was to make it so that nobody could figure out what actually happened, and
Pretty
that
much,
there was
yeah.
all sorts of different interpretations of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And something that we can just say outright right now, the bit that you saw at the end of episode 7 that Burncastle was showing Angie and Leon, that was the truth. That is actually what happened on Rokenjima that night. It wasn't just Burn trying to fuck around, that was the 100%
Wait, what was-
that's what happened.
Wait, what was the thing that we saw?
But I take it safe for
With
Battler
Kyrie
being...
and Ava.
Yeah.
That's what Battler didn't do it.
Kyrie and Rudolph killed everybody, and Ava was technically the only survivor.
Battler wasn't there.
Well, technically, as a big technically.
Well, yeah,
because
yeah.
in
We'll go to that in a second. Let me just talk about the the rules that Sayo established, because we kind of went over those very briefly. So there's 3 rules: rules X, Y, and Z. This is slightly abridged, just to kind of to elaborate slightly. There is always an accomplice. The accomplice is different every time. If the adults are all in financial trouble, it is easy to bribe them. Rule Y. Lies agreed upon by everyone can be depicted as actually happening. In a locked-room situation, anything goes. People who observe the golden butterflies are either accomplices or dead. Those who were not bribed can only see the gold butterflies in a time space of 30 minutes before their death. So basically, if you're an accomplice and you see the golden butterflies, you're not going to die off the bat. But if you see them, like, you're pretty much dead.
Wait, sorry. I'm also looking through this manga. So if they see the... Sorry, could you... Sorry,
if you see...
you go over
no,
this
it's
again?
fine, it's fine. Basically, So here, let me just break this down for you. Okay, so... If everybody agrees to a lie, it can be presented as the truth in the context of the story. If people who observe the golden butterflies are either an accomplice or they are dead. If somebody is not an accomplice and they see the golden butterflies, they will see the golden butterflies within a time space of about 30 minutes before their death. So if when you see a golden butterfly, that means you're basically about to die.
Let us provide examples. For instance, in episode 2, Rosa sees golden butterflies when Beatrice does a little trick for Maria, and that is because Rosa was in on it.
In episode 1, Genji throws a knife at the golden butterfly. That is because Genji and the servants in general are always in on it, essentially.
Yeah, the servants don't count towards the accomplices. They're just
except
they're just
So because
They're a neutral party.
Because Shikanen solved the epitaph, they were considered by all the servants to be the true head of the household, and as a result, all the servants listened to them. In addition, Kumasawa, Genji, and Najo all felt bad for them and wanted to do what they could to help.
Okay.
So these golden butterflies, they're like someone who's actually releasing golden butterflies.
Symbolism. Okay, and really quickly, one more. There's an additional rule. It's not actually a rule, but it's just something fun. It is, please, somebody stop me. I don't wish for certainty since I want it to be solved by you, being Battler. I will not push you too much, be it winning and dying together with everyone, or losing by having it all be solved. Both are an outcome that I desire. And I guess also as an additional thing, if you want to... Actually, no, we'll go over the witches and demons and what they represent later on.
Alright, because I just wrote that down in notes.
And one other thing really quickly, that is at the very end of this, there's a slight implication of that things that are happening in the meta-reality are technically true, because it is implied that Lambda Delta offered to be Seo's guardian at some point because of all of the message bottles that they were writing, and like seeing them as different possibilities.
What do you mean by true?
Wait, these characters are real?
Okay, so there is no magic in the ground reality of Umineko. The implication is there could exist magic, and Umineko is just a specific realm within that. There is no magic. There was no magic happening on Rokenjima, but magic can exist outside.
Can I tell Schrodinger to get fucked?
No.
Damn it! Damn it! I wanted to tell him to suck my fat cock. Shit.
Do we want to go over the
stuff? That magic is possible, but it didn't happen in the story.
So in the context that like Orange is talking about, like say whether Lambda Delta is real or not, basically it's like if you want to say that magic exists, again not in the realm of Umineko, it'd be like sure she exists somewhere, but it has nothing to do with what went down. There's also the interpretation, which once again symbolism, that Lambda Delta's existence is just like Sayo's determination in like carrying out this plan. And amongst other things, we can discuss that later.
So something additionally that we're going to go over really quickly is something I'm going to just go ahead and post in the chat here for you guys to look at. I will give an audio-based description for everybody. Is how Battler actually knew to go through that hidden tunnel and how he escaped, technically, quote-unquote, escaped. Because this is something that is introduced later on. This is what you kind of didn't see, quote-unquote. What? Huh? What?
You just posted it.
I know, so people can read along. So you can kind of peruse that while I'm kind of giving a text-based description.
I already did and posted earlier.
It's fine, don't worry about it. Besides, like, we can't fucking show this on stream anyway, so it's fine.
Wait, so this is chapter 41.
Yeah, this is essentially like a further explanation of what happened between October 5th and 6th.
Alright, yeah, this isn't what Rindy posted.
Yeah, no.
It is.
It's the same chapter.
What?
It is, yes.
It is?
It is a different chapter, but these are like a few chapters one after another, isn't it? Am I confusing
think so,
24?
yeah.
I mean, like what you posted was like chapter 24.
Hold on, let me check.
Same episode, different chapters. It's fine.
Basically, this will also kind of explain some other minor things that we'll get into like a smidgen later. But basically, near the end of episode 7, it implied that Beatrice, who was sitting in just kind of like the chair minding her own business while everybody was going crazy, got shot by Rudolph and Kyrie. This was not, in fact, the case. They got shot in the shoulder. I believe by one of the blanks. Well, no. Yes. I think I think Kyrie got the blank gun.
She purposely loaded the guns with 2 blanks just as an additional thing for the roulette.
Yeah. So yeah, Beatrice gets up, starts looking around, trying to figure out where everybody is, sees that a lot of people have been pretty much brutally murdered, as to be expected, and she finds Battler and goes to go save him, essentially. And then Beatrice kind of reveals everything going on to him. Talking about...
She doesn't actually reveal too much about the actual inner workings of her own history and stuff.
Yeah, no,
but she tells him what's about to happen and that they need to get up.
She pointedly does not tell him about her body or who she is in relation to him.
The most
if she's alive, why couldn't she, turn off the bomb?
Probably because want to preserve the mystery, whatever the hell. Also, she might not have known that the bomb wasn't on.
So run it back real quick. She was like knocked out a bit when she got shot, and like a whole bunch of time had gone by. Like it was already kind of a little too late by the time they realized, oh shit, the bomb's still going.
Once that timer starts ticking, you can't turn it off.
No, you can, but like again, by the time everything else had happened, it was already like.
Yeah, they explicitly show you how to turn it off. It's just they couldn't because
you have to go get a ladder and go to the chapel. There's a lot to do.
Okay, moving on.
But yeah, so more to the point, Beatrice explains that she is the human who is Shannon, yet also canon, Seiya Yasuda, and how she's been talking about like how she's been waiting for Battler to come back all this time. All this sort of fun stuff. She takes Battler through the underground passageway. They kind of like catch up a little bit and reminisce. They are at like when the bomb had already gone off, like around like when episode 6 happened. When day 6 happened. October 6th happened. My mistake. And
Are you saying apple?
My mistake. But yeah.
Apple.
The bomb had already gone off. They kind of like take a break. Well, no, they go to sleep for a bit, and then the bomb goes off. And then that just sort of leads into them walking through the tunnel. They all go to the motorboat and all that fun stuff. Oh no, the bomb goes off after they wake up. My mistake.
So the rowboat scene did happen.
The rowboat scene is real and does happen.
Slight tangent, but right as you said, and then the bomb goes off, there was legit somebody right outside my window who was in my neighborhood just literally firing fireworks, so that was perfect fucking timing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
It's the 7th already, isn't it?
But they're taking out the surplus.
Yeah.
For rednecks, the 4th of July is a 4-day cycle, before and after the 4th.
There's also an interesting.
But you're not wrong.
There's also an interesting bit at the end of this chapter that seems to that also kind of implies more of a meta contextual stuff, so to speak, because Beatrice, after drifting into the ocean along with Battler, winds up into the quote-unquote world of the cat box, and Battler is there having forgotten his memories, implying that at the end of October 6th is quite literally the beginning of the story, because she shows
the implication
Battler...
is so the implication is when Battler jumped after Beatrice down the boat, his body floated up along with his memories, but the quote-unquote Battler entered the cat box with her.
Yeah.
Without his memories.
And so you can kind of take the events of Umineko as a literal progressive story of Battler, or I guess you could even say Toya, going through a literal mental journey, which the meta world could be taken as a metaphorical space
Oh, damn, Shelly, you were close,
and you
man.
just kind of it's just kind of him like going through and realizing this up until the point at the very end where he is taken back to the Fukuin house, which has a replication of the grand hall of the Shermie estate, and then he sees Beatrice, and he finally fully remembers everything, and then Battler can properly die and go off to the Golden Land with everybody.
Didn't we already kind of assume that like Shelley's idea was correct, like that it was?
You're saying the idea that this entire thing was Battler's therapy?
Well, it was less. I wouldn't necessarily describe it as therapy, more like
recalling
a collection of really bad coping mechanisms. Because the overarching story of Umineko is about how magic can be used as or magic and quote unquote, or just kind of like escapism can be used as a method of overcoming trauma or like personal stress in your life. And almost everybody uses that to some degree.
It's also shown that relying too much on that escapism is only going to go ahead and prolong the problems or cause further problems down that road.
Oh wait, so I think I might have zoned out a tiny bit. So wait, like all the crazy magic shit was him remembering? That's what you said, or
remembering badly? Yeah.
To a certain degree, I'm not doing the best job of explaining it, but yeah, which magic?
What do you mean when you say magic?
Events, like the fragmented events with all the crazy shit, including the anime battle.
So okay, so
like maybe nightmares.
It all works according to the rules established before. For example, in episode 4, everyone. So in episode 4, there's a grand display of magic right at the start, where like 5 people die when Kinzo enters and summons a bunch of demons. In truth, his battler wasn't there, and everyone who was there was either in on it or like part of the lie, an accomplice. So as a result, the story can be written as if magic had actually occurred.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So he wasn't there.
So now that we have kind of gone through that, and again, if you have any additional questions, we'll save that for the post display. Now we're going to go through each episode and what actually happened as the mystery in them, so to speak.
All right.
So, this is episode 1. So this is Legend of the Golden Witch and how this sort of went down. Something I'm going to point out immediately off the bat, because at some point or another, some of you thought that there was more than one culprit, and some of you thought that it was the same culprit. It is generally the same culprit pretty much every time, minus episode 6, in which Erica's the culprit.
Yeah, I mean, after episode 4, that's when everything up for debate.
Laws change a tiny bit.
Yeah. Because that's when Balor's like starting to accept magic as a thing, and he's technically not the detective anymore since Erica kind of steps in for that role.
Wait, so where are you getting the answers for each of these episodes?
From the wiki. From the wiki,
but like it really is if you take the canon is a thing and like servants it starts to, when you reread it, it makes sense.
It makes more sense.
Yeah, but I have a life.
Why are there individual and different colors for each episode when there's one truth, which was the end of episode 7?
Wait, you cut out a lot.
Well, no, okay, I know what he said. It was basically just like, why is there individual solutions for each episode? Because each episode is a solvable mystery.
Yeah.
They're all actual possibilities that could have occurred on the island.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just because one episode says something else happened, that doesn't mean that it doesn't invalidate the episode.
The other episodes.
Like certain certain red truths can be applicable to one episode, and certain red truths can be applicable to literally every single like bit of piece of information and lore in the story.
I was just about to write down a question about that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like peeling it.
Good luck.
Generally, there is a bit. General red truths are relevant for the time they're stated unless stated otherwise.
The red truths are not.
For example, Kinzo is dead is true for all games. It is stated in red that this red truth is true for all games, that Kinzo has been dead from the start. The other stuff, like the times of the murder, are given at midnight of the second day, in which, yes, everyone is dead, but for the time they're spoken of, it's sort of like a trick, because they weren't necessarily dead for the time spoken of.
Yeah,
the only thing said was that they are dead.
So the red truths are not applicable to the overall thing, not all of them.
They're generally truths from that moment onwards.
Yeah, or like when they're talking about Kuadorian, like that's overarching true. Like you can sort
But some of them
figure it out.
directly contradict each other.
No.
Exactly. So the ones
they
that do are usually
What?
set for their own episode.
Wait,
that you're
were you
The
gonna say
red,
no?
the red truths don't contradict each other.
No, I mean like there's red truths in like episode 1 that don't inherently.
There's no
mesh with
red
the
truth in
truths-
episode 1.
Okay, and 2 that don't inherently mesh with things from other episodes, right?
Well, yeah, of course, because like certain people
That's what I
die in
meant.
certain ways in each episode. Okay.
I mean, like I said, I think I said it. Maybe I didn't, but
It
they
is-
don't
it is-
overall. They don't like some of them over, but like in the overall story
Pardon me.
will contradict each other. Like this person is dead. said
Well,
the
usually,
one story.
usually to refer to a specific event,
Mhm.
and the context that is relevant for the red truth.
Like for example, the red
in
spider
episode
web of truth
3,
in episode 3.
Yeah, in episode 3, Eva says she lists each person individually and says they are dead. But that red truth is given at 12 at midnight of that time. So yes, they're all dead, but they weren't necessarily dead for the time they were talking about.
Mm-hmm. So, let's just go ahead and I'll give you a brief overview of some of the more distinct parts of episode 1. And we're not going to go like murder by murder, breakdown by breakdown, because that would be, I'd be reading like a synopsis of the episode. So, the basics of it is that the culprit, obviously, is Seo. I'm just going to skip that from now on because there's virtually no difference of culprits. The common accomplices are each of the servants. Well, the servants who are like quote-unquote loyal to Seo. So in that case, you have Genji, Kumasawa, Nanjo, and technically not a servant, but is always a accomplice because of how loyal they are to Beatrice, Maria. Maria is always an accomplice, to a certain degree.
I know. One of the rules that Seo gave is that Maria must always die peacefully, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. So
that's sweet.
That explains a
But
few
yeah.
things.
I wouldn't necessarily call it sweet.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just
I was being sarcastic.
Yeah. So, I guess one of the fun things that people like to bring up is that the removal of Maria's rose is implied to have been the result of Goda, because he is shown cutting the stem of a rose in Twilight of the Golden Witch manga as it is damaged.
Boom,
And it is, and rose petals are later used in the
yeah, in one of the desserts that he makes.
Yeah, in the
I
main.
know, that's what
Mhm.
I thought.
Mm-hmm. Because
Khan calling out all those that didn't get it.
something that is worth mentioning rather distinctly is that, technically speaking, Shannon really doesn't need a disguise to appear in front of Maria, because Maria essentially believes that Beatrice is possessing Seo, because, she believes in all that magic fun stuff nonsense. Also, something that we forgot to mention that is worth noting, because we mentioned that Seo did not develop secondary sex characteristics. Shannon is patting her chest the entire time.
Yes.
It
Which-
kind of looks bad in a little.
Which is why people like to joke a lot about how if Battler actually touched Shannon's boobs in episode 1, the story might have been very different.
I think he would have just went, oh, she's patting.
Huh?
It's like, I don't think he would have thought that much about
heck no, dude.
He's a
If it's
boom man. He was.
He's a self-proclaimed breast
breast
sommelier.
I mean,
yeah.
I would have just assumed that he would have thought, oh, she's flat-chested.
Dude, no. Battler has been confirmed to be an over-the-shoulder boulder holder connoisseur.
I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying.
That's gotta be a reference. What is that a reference to?
No, you are fundamentally misunderstood. I think he would have just thought, oh, she's actually flat-chested. I don't think it would have damaged, like, the crime, her plans. I don't think it would have damaged her plots.
So,
Actually,
I
you do
think
have a
what
point.
Bone's
It really
trying to
wouldn't have
say
gone.
is, yeah, Battler wouldn't have jumped from, oh, she's patting her chest to, she's a murderer.
Yeah.
well, no, just more like
Linebacker.
probably would have asked some loaded questions.
Yeah.
And things might
Probably
have spiraled
would've-
out from there. So, I mean, like, it's speculation, but I imagine some things might have been different otherwise. In addition to that, the accomplices this time were Ava and Hideyoshi.
Oh wait, are we talking about episode 3 or episode 1?
Episode 1. We're talking about episode 1. Yeah.
Wait, the accomplices were Ava and
that's so
Hideyoshi?
fun.
Yeah, the accomplices in this one were episode 1, because if you'll recall, in the garden storehouse, Hideyoshi confirmed Shannon's body without showing it to anybody. That's because they know. He literally went, it's too indescribable, don't look at it.
Yeah.
So they were working with her, right?
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Okay.
They were in on it.
Also, if you are confused about Seo's gender, they distinctly go by she, her, so you're good there. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't think there's anything like super duper interesting other than
we know
you
the
know,
reasons they were working with
Seo, like money.
The same as always. All the adults are in big financial trouble, and Seo can
Mhm.
solve all those troubles.
Yeah.
They are the head of the household. They
Wait,
do
so,
what they
wait. I just want to wait. How do they know that she can help them again? I might have
Because
because she's the head.
Guys, one.
Let us explain.
Yukon, them.
Let us
Hi.
explain.
Hi. Hello.
Okay, again. So why is it that they know again?
Seo approached them with the money and said, "I'm the new head of the Ashurmia family.
All right, cool. Thank you.
I will give you a bunch of money to help me pull off these murders."
And this happens in all games.
Well, with different people.
It's a possibility for all games.
To some extent.
Them. Gotcha.
So I thought that was only in the episode where we find out about what Seo actually is.
No.
Nope.
Continuing. The second one's fairly obvious. She killed off Ava and Hideyoshi after they helped her out. Genji kind of like helped hide the body and all that stuff because Genji's always in on it too. Fourth Twilight's pretty easy because Kinzo was always dead. So that was like a freebie, essentially.
So they just burned a corpse.
Pretty much, yeah.
Gross.
Nanjo was always in on it, so he was able to basically fake confirm the fact that Kanon died because there was technically no corpse there, so to speak.
So Genji is 100% loyal to a fault. Nanjo and Kumasawa are a bit harder, and sometimes they are being lied to, and Seo tells them it's a prank. And they aren't actually in it, but they are accomplices under that.
Question is, why don't they just burn Kenzo earlier on? Like, why doesn't Sayo burn?
Depends.
Kenzo?
But more to the point, really quickly, actually, I was slightly off about the Kanon thing. Kanon used fake blood and makeup to create the illusion of a chest wound, and then Nanjo helped confirm his death.
So still faking it.
Yeah.
Blood makeup.
At least in some details.
Yeah. Then obviously, like...
Where I can.
And then obviously, like, what is it? For the last bit, it was like mostly accurate for the most part, because it was literally just... Seo just told Maria, go look in the corner and start singing, and then they just fucking shot everybody else, because they kind of have to. Or
Also noted,
I'm scared at that point.
At the when Kano started to suspect that Seo is Leon, he started teaching them how to use firearms and such. That's what, and as a result, they are pretty skilled. And in addition, as you know, there are a lot of guns hidden in the house. So Seo has hidden them in a bunch of convenient locations. So they always have access to one.
Including behind the portrait.
Yeah. More distinctly, if you'll recall, at the very end of episode 1, there was a brief shootout between Seo and Natsuhi. And and both of them shoot, but only Natsuhi is dead. That is because Natsuhi's gun was loaded with blanks.
Yep, alright.
Pretty straightforward. Alright. So, the next one is Turn of the Golden Witch. Now, Turn of the Golden Witch is notorious because I've said before numerous times, this is the hardest one. And everyone following this was significantly easier by comparison because...
It was so hard. Oh, go on, sorry.
Yeah, no, you straight up, you can just go.
So it was so difficult that afterwards the plans for episode 3 were changed to be easier after complaints due to episode 2.
Like to give you
had to be there.
Like to give you an idea, originally there was going to be a character, I think we've said this before, but like I guess for the sake of this one, technically speaking, there was going to be an Erica stand-in that was going to show up during this particular episode, but then he decided to kind of shuffle some things around and change some things up. I think originally episode 3 was going to be more like episodes 4, 5, and 6, but then he decided to kind of rearrange things to make things a little bit more easier and give some hints and shit.
It's no reference. It was supposed to be, episode 3 was meant to be called Land of the Golden Witch, and in one of the later episodes, Beatrice goes about, oh man, it's a shame no one found the fragment I wrote about that I called Land. So that's a reference to that.
So yeah, for episode 2, we sort of talked about this a little bit already. So we have, obviously, culprits the same. Common accomplices are all the same too. Accomplice at this time, though, is actually a little bit funny because you guys know about Rosa being the culprit. Or the accomplice. Goda is also an accomplice in this one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What?
This is the one where where the victims get impaled, right?
And so now we can
his
talk about...
reaction wasn't his... sorry.
No, you can go, it's fine.
Okay, thank you, sorry. So then his reaction in the church in the VN wasn't genuine. He was fake acting.
Well, here, so let's go into the additional information on the first Twilight, because the first Twilight was something that had some funny discussions, such as the drug that makes you eat food.
Yeah.
A little known fact, but Gora did in fact put small bombs in the food because he was in a compass.
Yeah.
Wait, he put bombs in the food?
No,
No, that was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke.
Sorry.
All right, so
He installed a drug that makes you eat food.
so the basic description of it is that Rosa was bought off, and all the servants and Nanjo are co-conspirators. The lock on the door was an agreed-upon story. So let me just go ahead and go through the full, like, proper explanation of the chapel, because it's actually fairly straightforward for the most part, but might as well just get that out of the way, because that was kind of a hot-button discussion for a little while. So obviously, Seiyu invited all the adults to the chapel, where everybody but Rosa that had partaken in a drink that was laced with poison. They were then killed and then mutilated, and then they had the candy stuffed in them after they were dead. They didn't eat a bunch of candy, and because they had a drug that made them eat food.
Okay.
But yeah. What is it? There are several...
The locked door is sold by the fact that the door was never locked. Only compasses said it was locked.
In fact, there are several Reds that never actually state directly that the door was locked. Rosa and the servants said that it was locked in the morning to give off the illusion of a closed room. This was done at midnight to give the siblings, excepting Rosa, who was promised the gold, time to solve the epitaph. So the second Twilight is one that's... I think I might be misremembering this one because... Oh wait, here we go. So yeah, so episode 2 was essentially Canon's body doesn't exist. Because, somehow Canon never actually left the room in episode during the time of his death. Basically, Seiyu killed off the Canon persona after Canon killed Jessica. Seiyu playing the parts of Shannon and Canon meant that she had 2 sets of master keys. She left the room key on the desk and the one master key inside of Jessica's pocket, and then changed into Shannon. Either Seiyu/Shannon, Goda, or Genji locked this room and then painted the first magic circle on the door. At some point, Rosa went to the study to retrieve a Winchester and was informed by Seiyu that Kinzo had been dead for almost 2 years. So the 4th, 5th, and 6th Twilights. So this one is actually this is like the most difficult part of this episode by far. I don't think you could have solved this like in any conceivable way. So, the basic description of this one is that Shannon killed Goda, then George, and then actually just straight up committed suicide. So, Shannon made handprints on the door, placed a stake doused with makeup next to her in advance, and chose her dying position to be face down, slumped over the cabinet to give off the illusion the stake had simply fallen out. Shannon then shot herself with a gun that fell behind Natsuki's dresser. So there's a couple different tricks that kind of explained how this was possible. One trick is that the gun had weight applied to it, with the recoil from Shannon firing the gun pulling it behind the dresser. The Twilight manga suggests the gun was tied to the dresser itself, with the recoil from firing knocking the gun behind. The room was never thoroughly examined, so the gun was never actually found from the dresser.
You need to have a really visual mind to come up with this one.
I mean, you go by the rules that are established, essentially. Not everything without the manga, not everything is necessarily exact, but everything can become a very reasonable solution that makes sense.
Hold
Also,
Hold up a second here. Orange, what did you say happened with the gun?
The gun was
fell
just
behind the dresser.
It fell behind the
It
dresser.
was shot and the recoil pushed it backward, essentially.
Also, hello, great 35p.
Dude, that's exactly
Oh, hey,
what happened.
great
and then
35p.
there were no-
Thank you for very much for joining us. We're going over the answers of Umineko.
Yeah, so,
35p is with me on this. Woo!
So, wait, which episode is it that Hideyoshi is dead in the bathtub?
That was episode 1.
First one.
yeah.
Oh, how did that
Also,
how
hey,
did that
Once
happen?
again, the door wasn't actually locked.
Also, hey, really quickly, consider following so we will read a funny Catboy visual novel on stream at some point.
Anyone who wanted to compass
Also-
only showed up after the door was actually quote-unquote unlocked by cutting it.
Wait,
Also-
why did Shannon kill herself if she wanted to go in with these people for the
More
gold?
on that in just a second.
Oh, Shannon doesn't do it for the gold. At no
Also, we're
point.
reading Fata Morgana next, so if you're interested in that, I suggest you follow as well.
Or we're reading a short story, then Fata Morgana.
Oh, it's because she's convincing them to help her, so
Well,
that they
more
can
to
get
the
gold, but
point-
she doesn't care about it.
Well, more to the point, the suicide was like that because Shannon killed George, so they were kind of overcome with grief and guilt, and they were just like, fuck it, I'll just
And
take myself
Jessica.
out and put myself as part of the
Both
mystery.
George and
because, like,
Jessica, yes.
Yeah,
That makes
because
sense.
Shannon never really had. Plus, they never really had any intention of helping Rosa out in the end. That was more or less just so they could have an accomplice. 7th and 8th Twilight's pretty straightforward. Genji just killed them. And then the 9th Twilight was, since Rosa and Maria are accomplices, they basically just put the letter there, and they put the letter there and just gaslit Battler.
Yep. Oh, I think Bone had a question about Rosa too that we can answer at this point because it's in episode 2.
Sure.
If you remember the ending of episode 2, where all the shit goes entirely crazy, Battler goes in, sees Beatrice, then all the ghosts show up. All of that happens within the 30 minutes before the bombs go off, and as a result, everyone on the island can see any magic that's required because they're about to die.
Wait, was episode 2 the one where Rose is getting chased by the guns and the bullet that...
he's getting chased by the goats.
In addition...
That is correct.
The reason why Battler was able to see Kinzo as living during that brief moment was because he was drunk off his ass.
That's a very, long conversation he's having with Kinzo.
He doesn't really talk that much to him. So, Banquet now, episode 3.
Wait, sorry, I might have missed something. So wait, what were the goats that were chasing Rosa?
It's the bomb.
Fake.
Yeah,
it was the bomb.
The bomb's going off.
Yeah.
It's not a representation of anything specific, but Rosa is about to die in 30 minutes, and as a result, any sort of magic can occur.
Yeah.
Well, and you know how she was like, we had to swim, we had to get the fuck off of here because she knows the bomb's going. Like, she's like, we gotta go.
Yeah. Episode 3 was fairly straightforward as far as you could tell because, pretty obviously, Ava and Hideyoshi were accomplices in this situation.
Wait. Is it really that straightforward?
It is.
And whenever it doesn't make sense because Ava was in the room currently sick, she couldn't have done it.
No,
the only person confirming that is Hideyoshi.
Not that. It's just about whether she was the culprit or the accomplice.
The culprit is still technically Sayo at the end.
Because
of
there's
the
the
day.
whole thing where Sayo is
Then Ava did
surprised.
While you're talking about this, I'm gonna sprint to get a drink. I'll be right back.
Well, so technically,
Sayo seemed kind of surprised by Ava just going and doing her own thing.
Well, so
that can also happen.
If I may, really quickly, they're listed as separate culprits as well, because they're working together to help out. They're working together kind of to their own ends. They're kind of fucking up Sayo's entire deal a little bit.
It's very hilarious, actually, since it's hilarious on Eva's part. That's what it was.
Basically, in this episode, they start out as just accomplices, but eventually take their reins into their own hands.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why she became the witch in that episode.
Ava kills Rosa and Maria, then Sayo's like, huh.
Wait, what's the reason why Eva Triss is a thing?
So, because Ava A solved the epitaph and also B was committing murders.
Overtook the plan as a culprit herself instead of just being an accomplice.
Alright, so what was Sayo doing during that?
Sayo's doing her thing, but the thing is, with Sayo's rules, it's like she will stop killing people as soon as someone solves the epitaph. Ava never announced that she solved the epitaph, so Sayo continued doing her own thing.
God.
That's why it's fucking funny.
Yeah,
like Sayo had faked her death in the first Twilight or whatever.
So I'll just give the simple explanation of the first Twilight really quickly. Basically, just Shannon orchestrated a series of murders in locked rooms. The first body found in the string was false. When the coast was clear, Shannon became canon to falsify another death in the chapel.
So did she discover? Eva ever discovered the gold in the?
Yes, canonically, yes, they did.
All right, I forget how she acts throughout the rest of that story. How does she act throughout the rest of the story?
Well, here we can talk about that through the second Twilight.
For example, you know that Beatrice was quite distraught at how Ava Beatrice killed Rose and Maria, because that is not how she herself prefers to treat Maria's dead, if possible.
Because, for the second Twilight, pretty straightforward. Ava murders Rosa. When Maria raises a fuss, she was strangled by Ava.
And Vergilia also first appears in this episode, right?
Yes. They were intended to be guides to help Battler figure things out. So...
go ahead.
You can ask your question later on. Just keep that written down for right now. So 4th, 5th, and 6th is fairly straightforward. Ava and Hideyoshi were bought off. They suspected Hideyoshi in the mansion. He killed Rudolph and Kyrie. Kyrie did not die instantly, and then she ended up killing Hideyoshi as a result. And then for I think for like pretty much every following one, they were all killed by Ava. I think the ninth Twilight's a little bit different though.
Wait, for who?
remember.
For
yeah,
George.
that's the one. Wait, no, the ninth is
Oh,
Nanjo's.
Oh yeah, Nanjo, yeah.
Killed by Theo because.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
She was.
So here's George's death for the record. Seo called Nanjo, who helped George escape the guest room by locking the window behind George as George used it to escape. Nanjo locks the window from the inside, filling both of the red truths. It is unknown as to whether she disabled only the external line or disabled all phone connections and re-enabled them for this call. George went to the mansion where he was shot and killed. This is when Seo painted the number 0715-1129 on it. 0715 is Battler's birthday, and 1129 is Beatrice's birthday, aka when Seo created the Beatrice persona specifically.
And that is the card number.
Yes.
To the secret bank account.
Mm-hmm.
Also, minor question, a little bit of a tangent.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my youngest sister just came in my room and then she's just started playing Lady Marmalade for some godforsaken reason, and she's just started swinging her hair and she said, "Get Christ." Does anyone here know what that fucking means?
No. Please continue.
No,
Please continue,
stay on
please.
topic.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Moving on.
So pretty straightforward.
Wait, which episode was? Oh, sorry.
Pretty straightforward for the ninth Twilight. Seo just killed Nanjo.
Yes, this is where the whole thing. It's not how specifically it is said. It is said they're all dead, but it is then said the three of them were alive at the end, because specific to make you think that they were all dead before that, when it's like not stated like that.
I'm going to be honest, I do not remember the specific wording
That's
of
fine.
most of this.
I mean, here, if you want to, you can just look at the gigantic list of red truths on the wiki. Go ahead.
Yeah, episode 3 is wild.
I'm gonna make a quick question now about the story, but do you believe we are going to actually get through all these before time?
Yes, because we're
hurrying through it. It's such a.
He's literally
Also, it's
speedrunning
more than halfway through now. There's only 6 episodes with Red Truth.
Yeah.
But Orange, what if there's a lot of distractions?
I know, right?
Also, episode 4 is surprisingly short.
Episode 4 is incredibly short and easy to figure out because, as we mentioned briefly before, everybody but Battler was in on it.
Yeah, so magic just free reign.
Yep.
What was the story of episode 4 again? I forget.
Episode 4 was like
insane, summoning everyone, trapping everyone in prison, killing them one by one.
Guys won.
Kinzo fucking going crazy, summoning a bunch of demons, and with the help of those magical demons, trapping everyone that's left alive underground, and then killing them one by one.
Actually, it's about Goatkin.
But
Yeah.
everyone
And
was in
Goatkin.
on it, but then they all got murdered.
Yeah, because again, these are possibilities. Like, this is not like a hard, real thing that could have happened.
Orange, I have a really, really quick question.
Yes.
Actually, no, never mind. Sorry.
That was more.
You can write it in chat.
You can write it in chat. Yeah. At any rate, yeah. So basically, just everybody agreed on that scenario. Technically speaking, whenever you saw Kinzo in that scenario, that was Seo. Just straight up, they recognized Seo as the head of the household fundamentally. It's pretty straightforward. Going forward from there, everybody was in on it. All that nonsense happened, so on and so forth. There's also just kind of like a little bit of fun nonsense about like how, hey, why couldn't I have seen Cannon in the thing? That's because if he saw Cannon's corpse, he'd know that there was no Cannon corpse, etc., etc.
All I can basically remember from episode 4 is the Angie scenes. I forget almost all of it.
But yeah, episode 4 is incredibly cut and dry. If you want to go into the specifics of it, you can you can go to the wiki again. It's perfectly fine at this point now. And then the last one that really has like any weight in terms of like story or I guess solution stuff to it is 5 still. Because 5 was like the whole Natsuhi exposing arc. Technically speaking, in that one, everybody except Natsuhi and Erika were in on it.
Wait, Erika? Wait,
Yeah.
was she a real person?
Erika and Natsuhi.
Yeah,
Well,
Erika's
this-
a real person.
Oh, right.
Erika was a real person in the context of the 5th and 6th episodes, yes.
I forgot.
She fell off a boat.
I forgot that she was a part of a real thing.
Yeah.
Erica supposedly died from a boat accident that she fell off the boat
Mhm.
near
Yeah, they-
Hiroshima at the time.
they-
That's the reason why she's kind of connected to the story.
They implanted a random girl that fell off a boat into their murder mystery about a real life family. Yes.
Yeah. So it is worth mentioning the reason.
She's the self-insert.
No,
So
she was a real person.
She was a real person.
Insert, but
Wait, she was actually a person.
Erica was
Yes.
well. So we don't know if Erica was actually like this, but basically there was a real person who fell off of a boat called the Eternal Maid 2 at a certain point in the story, around the same time.
Fell off that ship and was never seen again.
Pretty much, yeah.
So who knows where she could have? Maybe she landed.
She could have
on
made it to the island, even though that was
Who
extremely
knows?
unlikely.
Yeah. So it is worth mentioning that the reason, so for the Man from Years Ago shenanigan and why they were voiced by Daisuke Ono for that is because the first time that call happened, it was actually Battler. He was going along with it from the beginning, and all the following ones were Seo.
Okay, so Battler was fucking with Natsue.
Yes, basically, that was literally just, that entire episode was just everybody fucking with Natsuhi.
Seo is quite good at controlling her voice, since she can sound as Shannon or Canon or Beatrice according to what's needed.
Can't imagine how that would be.
Yeah. But for the record, nobody actually died in episode 5. It was largely faked.
Wait, nobody died?
Nobody died.
Yep, it was all fake.
It was all fake.
Episode 6, though.
Episode 6 is where there's actually real death because Eric goes around and kills everybody.
So episode 5 could just be relabeled the Gaslight Natsuhi.
Wait, Erica was the
Yeah.
killer in episode 6?
I remember she went around cutting people's heads off.
Did she? Oh god, I forget so much of episodes.
Yeah.
She very specifically did that.
She wanted to she made sure they were dead.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because she wasn't the detective anymore.
Yep.
I remember going through episode 6 and just being like miserable the whole time because there was like
Yeah,
a lot
the
of
miserable
gaslighting going on.
My memory is terrible.
In fact, also episode 6 was also intended to be another scenario in which nobody actually died because they were all trying to play a prank on Ava because she was a piece of shit.
No,
But-
on Erica. Not
On Erica, I meant on Erica, yeah. Because she's a piece of shit,
And
and
then Erica
then
went-
it turned into a actual, it turned into an actual murder scenario.
So did Khan call that? I forget.
Well, no, they just straight up told you at the end of it.
Wow.
Like, right before Battler gets caught in the logic error, they just straight up tell you that happened. So actually,
anyone
one
could
thing,
have gone to free him because they weren't actually dead.
Mhm.
But surprise, they couldn't.
yeah, it's also worth mentioning to a bit that there was a very subtle implication that Battler got himself caught in the logic error intentionally so that Beatrice would resurrect fully as the true Beatrice. But that is, I believe, a little bit of speculation, but I think Ryugashi implied it a little bit. I'm not 100% sure on that.
There's a line that just randomly dropped when they're playing that little fucking card game, and Balor's like, I set that trap to make it look like I was losing, and then I snuck up and won in the end. And they're like,
But also Battler would just say
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
I honestly figured, mostly because I've seen stuff like that in stories beforehand, and how you literally said everything in the story plays a role. I
Yeah.
figured innocuous lines like that would always come back to help.
So-
I figured Battler planned
But
that
you
out.
also have to remember that Battler's a bit of an ass, and he would probably just say that if he won.
Yeah.
well, there's also just the fact that he was like actually trying to get Beato to remember, so it's like it had to be this way.
It's probably like, okay, so Beatrice, quote unquote, went through 1,000 years of suffering, so it kind of tried to make her go through that again in a way. It kind of.
But the
That's
last thing,
still up to interpretation, I guess.
the last thing that I'll do really quickly is talk about what each of the demons represent. At this point, you can kind of take a pretty easy
Not
guess.
just
as to-
demons, all the magical beings.
all the magical
rather.
creatures, yeah. Largely speaking, a lot of the magic creatures in from episode 5 onward don't necessarily have the same significance. Like Gertrude, Cornelia, Delanor, Willard. They're not actually important figures in the mystery
Gertrude
aspect.
is a window latch.
I feel like the Chesters,
That is a reinterpretation.
I think the
Yeah.
Chesters is the
Cornelia
most obvious.
is a door.
Yeah.
So the Chesters are in fact the rabbits that Maria got.
That and
the
the
mix
rifles.
of the guns,
Mhm.
yeah.
And the guns.
Yeah, because
Winchester.
the names are a permutation. of...
Winchester.
Yes, Zephyr and Fur
And the
represent
calibers.
Seo's gender confusion. Yes.
They're also named after calibers of bullets and stuff.
Like
45,
5.56, 45.
Double O.
And note that there is another Chester, 556, that is absent from the story because Rosa broke one of the rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
There's also that one gun that shoots low.
Yeah. And
Yes.
00 is damaged because, well, yeah, because that's the one that shoots low, and also
That's because that doesn't
because there's also damaged slightly because of Rosa. Other
So
than
I
that,
think anytime that they killed somebody, like that is
Yeah, it was-
representative of that gun.
Gun.
yeah. More than that, Virgilia obviously represents, I think, Kumasawa, at least within the
Yeah, I
context
mean,
of
that
Shannon's
is the
story.
most
That
on
is
the nose
quite a-
one.
Ronove represents Genji, which makes the most sense because they have his
Ronove.
name is Ronove and
Ronove
Ronove.
Genji.
But more than that, because Genji's in on it, they keep saying, "Hey, Ronove, clean up the bodies for me."
It's also the point in episode 4 where Jessica meets Ronove and she's like, oh, like Roto, like Kenji.
Yeah.
I might have misremembered this, but like for some reason it fucked with me, and I felt weird. Is that I could have sworn while going through it during the goats invading the goddamn house in episode 8, they literally go Ronove's stand-in for Genji.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they do.
So
Speaking of, the goats are you.
Yes.
The one that tries to
So-
theorize and make.
So what?
I want to-
That was obvious.
Whenever you're saying like stand-in, like so, whenever Virgilia does something, that is Kumasawa doing something.
Well, not quite, but Virgilia is a representation and based off Kumasawa in Seo's mind.
Because whenever they would say double, I didn't quite I
So-
kind of got it, but then I thought
They're not literally doubles. They're designs based on Yasu's idea of them.
Yeah.
Like
Interpretation.
when
So
Yasu
it's
was a
like,
child. When Yasu was a child, Kumasawa taught her like the rituals to help her stop forgetting things and called them spells. So in Yasu's mind, Kumasawa is like a powerful witch, stuff like that.
They
And
also
similar
just
thing-
okay, but that
when they were younger.
so like Virgilia
Hey, hey.
doing something isn't Kumasawa doing something.
Not literally,
no,
no.
Not yeah.
Okay,
The
that's
character
what I'm
is
trying to figure out.
But
Now,
more than
in
that,
that same vein, oh,
really, I'll get Gap out of the way because we talked about this a little bit. Gap is
Gap
like
is a bit more complicated.
Gap is the representation of the original interpretation of what Beatrice was believed to be, because it was just kind of the implication that Beatrice was like this like trickster entity that existed on Rokkenjima that like hid things from people and all that fun business. Like they went around went to go open like window latches and shit. And then
Wait,
No,
can we run
Orange,
that back
Orange,
just a
tell
little
them the truth.
No, don't!
no, non-jokerous.
So that is one interpretation.
Um,
One interpretation is that since Nanjo is a big fan of mystery novels and Gap is a master of closed rooms.
Okay, Robo, now I can. Robo, I can tell.
Put that up on the screen, please.
No, I'm not gonna put. Look up Go to Triss. Look up Go to Triss on stream. There you go. Also,
if I may share this because I thought it would be funny. For the longest time, at the end when I finished it, I thought Grap was the representation of Goda, not because of the shit they had said prior, just because Gap and Goda were the last ones that didn't have a representation. So my mind went, okay, so Gap's Goda.
Why the name Gap though? Like, where does that name come
Gap
from?
is a demon.
A demon. They're actual demons.
No,
Also,
So my question
That is
Robo,
these
be
names
quiet.
specifically.
Robo.
Bone was saying something first.
No, I know. I'm just saying to Crimson. No, they're just saying it's just a demon name. It's not a Captain Logic, apparently.
No.
Okay.
Japanese.
Now I think Robo should go.
So my question is, why those names specifically? Why names from the Ars Goetia?
They're cool.
because
Oh, there is actually a.
yeah, because it is a. You go ahead. You go.
Do you want to go on?
Well, no,
So,
you can do it, it's fine.
They're basically all a feat of all the creatures, all the magical creatures, sort of an act of collaborative writing between Seiyo and Maria.
Mm-hmm.
And Maria is very much into the occult and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that.
So
So.
she helped to rename them.
Mm-hmm. And then one additional
with
thing.
cool demon names.
So one additional thing that has quite literally zero relevance, but I thought it was something very funny we did. We played a little sneak on you, played a little tricky on you, and I think Bone is the one who caught this. A couple of weeks ago, we dropped art of Rosa as a witch into the voice chat, and only Bone saw it, and he thought it was like an actual spoiler. And we were playing a big
Got on Abyss for it.
yeah, and that was
that was planned in the fight.
yeah, that was planned. That was a bit.
Abyss was with us in the Fight Club, and he agreed to the bit.
Wait, that was a bitch? Yeah.
That was all a bit.
Rosatrice, my beloved.
I didn't even
Rosatrice.
recognize what it was. I didn't see it long enough to
I
understand it
don't
was
think it
Rose.
counts as a trick if most of us didn't see it.
I know, but I just wanted to bring it up because it was that one bit was very funny because we got Bone. Rosatrice
I didn't
is
even
the.
know it was Rosa. I just saw like the outfit.
But really quickly though, Rosatrice is not a real. It's a real theory. It's not the truth. But
Can
it's
I
an.
talk about Rosatrice?
You know,
'Cause
yeah,
I
you
was
can talk
there.
about
I had to
Rosatrice because you were there.
actually physically
Yeah.
experience that.
Mm-hmm.
So way back when Umineko first finished, there was a very famous YouTuber in the Umineko fandom called No No More, who did not like how it ended, did not like Chicane and Triss, and proceeded to go on a 10-hour Umineko theory about how Chicane was wrong and how the theory could be explained with Rosa, Nanjo, and George. And I just it's still up actually. I mean, it's up in parts, but you can find it.
Did you watch it?
I mean, if you want to, I wasted 10 hours of my life that I will never get back,
Was
but
it a
it is
good
pretty
theory?
fun. I have memes. I can. So
Oh, yeah.
I have some memes. I have actual quotes I can go get you guys while
Oh,
I
yeah.
continue talking.
Please do. I want to hear.
So
I want to
this
see
is,
fire.
I guess, somewhat obvious, but the stakes are based off of the personality of servants that walk the dimension together with Yasuo. Were
So-
shown in person during
and they-
episode 8 or 7?
Yeah, episode
Seven.
like the episode 7, yeah. And that's where they get like the names came from the fact that like they each had like the holy symbol, like weird like naming convention thing. Cause like so you had like Sanon and
Satan.
Belmon, I forget. And then of course you have the epitomus, the infamous actually, Lunon.
I love
Lunon.
I love Lunon. I love Lunon so much.
Lunon was gonna be a major thing.
I know, I did. I thought it was gonna be a thing. Let
I
me live it down.
I mean, I
So-
did too. I repeatedly made Lunon theories.
And you know what? Here we're going to before we get into the Q&A and we start booting up Golden Fantasia, which is why the Erica picture is gone now. We're going to just go ahead and get this out of the way because Bone, you asked about this very, very early on. So there's a short story that was included in a manga and like a proper VN format that we're not going to be reading off the cuff that is called Sakutaro and the Seven Circles of Hell, in which Sakutaro goes through quite literally the Seven Circles of Purgatory, where he quite literally goes through all 7 circles of purgatory for perceived sins that he had committed during his time with Maria. And then he wakes up in a case in a certain location. That location was Kawabata's boat shop. Angie sees the Sakutaro plushie and takes it with her. That is because Sakutaro is a mass-produced plushie that Rosa lied about making because she's a horrible mother.
That you love.
Hey.
So that other one was right.
Yeah, but look how cool she is in Golden Fantasia. Though.
She's so fucking cool, though.
But
Is that
sex,
why
though.
she's your beloved?
But thanks.
The reason why
But
Rosa's
she
my
has
beloved
cool
is
guns.
because she's a very interesting and in-depth character that I like quite a bit because of like all the amount of the amount of time and effort they put into her.
A good character study.
Mm-hmm.
Great character,
Jesus
terrible
Christ,
person.
Yes, very cool character. That's why I like them quite a bit. So now we are going
Wait,
to.
there's more.
Oh, you want? Is there any thing you want to?
Oh no, I'm showing the Rosatrice.
So.
But Orange, you're forgetting the best servant of all. What about Flauros?
Oh, Floros. That's right. The one that
We're
aren't
not
going
gonna
to
get
see.
a flower, sorry, ever.
We're not going to see Floros because we're just doing
That's why
Saku.
we need to explain it now.
Floros.
I don't know.
Persona 5.
Floros. Hold on here. Floros.
Cat girl,
Umineko.
cat girl, I'll get
Floros.
it.
Umineko.
As you might have noticed, a lot of these creatures appear also in Persona 5, that's because they also draw from the same source for their names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Floros
Persona
is.
5 invented demons.
I honestly forgot.
What am I looking at with that?
Floros is a
Where are
fake.
they from?
Floros.
So
If
basically,
you'll give me a
they-
second, please.
Orange.
Floros is an additional character that was released as part of Umineko Saku, a story collection that came out 2 years ago. And it exists to answer a few things. One is Beatrice's process for making stories. That's where Floros comes from, because she makes up a demon on the spot to serve as an example for this. And another character who we will be knowing about, because we're going to be reading that story specifically. Floros will never be seen by us during any particular part of the story. This is just the character we're throwing at you right now because they are fucking pointless.
Okay.
The most useless character of all, a fan-made character.
Okay.
It's not a fan-made character.
Down, man.
Yeah, except she's official.
They are an official character. They do exist. All right. So that is the last bit I think we have to talk about, like in terms of just getting mystery stuff out of the way. Feel free to
Any
go
other
through...
generic questions?
Well, no. Okay. Before we shift to the Q&A, I'm gonna get Golden Fantasia booted up. So if you want to play that, now's your chance. We will be playing that while we go over Q&A questions and such.
All right. So how do you want to start? Like with who talks?
Well,
You
really
want to go in
quickly.
order
Well,
of-
really quickly. Josh, you want to say something really quick, like?
So, this isn't related to the grand scheme of things, but I will say this for the sake of everything, including other people, is that please to God, if you're going to talk about anything revolving Umineko that might be a spoiler, please put it in the appropriate chats and/or / be careful of who is in a voice call. As you recall, SDB, one good viewer and one good friend, is still going through the series. Also,
Yo,
for
SDB,
additionally,
homie, stay out of the live chat.
When someone who might join the server for unrelated reasons, maybe they joined because they saw the Danganronpa streams that I did and joined via that or some other shit. They may have not read Umineko, so it's to be very respectful to them, and trying to make sure they don't get their enjoyment destroyed. Please refrain from talking about spoilers too openly in open chats.
Of course.
That
I
is
feel
all.
there's... Sorry. Yeah,
That's all.
so I feel there's one more thing we should specifically address as far as solutions go, which is the logic error in episode 6. Because that is pretty important, and is kind of the crux. So, in episode 6, somehow, Canon manages to save Battler in a weird way. So what actually happened is that Seo went into the room as Canon and then stopped identifying as Canon, quote-unquote, killed him while he was in the closet, and then he no longer existed there. Because what is stated is that Canon is not in that room. And because of that, it is also reference to the fact that this is when the new Beatrice realized her own origins, quote-unquote, because this is why people say that this was all a plan by Battler to cause a logic error to get Beatrice to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay.
So, do you want to do the questions in order of who's in the Discord, in like the Discord list?
Roll for initiative.
Wait,
No.
wait.
The bot is not in this channel. You
It
can't
sounds like
use
it'd be more confusing.
All right, really quick. Okay, here. Hold on. No. We're not doing that. No,
That was a
no.
joke.
We're gonna make this very simple, and we're gonna make this very simple. Give me a second.
Damn it.
We're going to go down from top to bottom in irrelevant of the voice channels. So from that logic, we are doing Bone, then Chelly, then Roboot, then Con, then Sim, then Crimson. You will begin to do repeat, and you will be doing exactly one question, and then we'll move on to the next one. We will do that for
important ones top.
Oh, okay. I wish I knew that ahead of time.
Sorry.
Oh, well, no. Is it
Well,
okay? So
time.
it's like it's gonna be rotating back, right?
Yeah, it's gonna rotate
Yeah.
back, but
So,
like
yeah.
I mean, somebody might still ask like a question that you had in mind, but I'm like, get your like big ones.
Mm-hmm.
I only had
through.
one immediate question about the stream, and
Well,
are you gonna let us see the Golden Fantasia game?
Yeah, I'm getting it set up. I'm just having some fucking conniptions right now.
Also, it's gonna be
Okay.
real jank because Orange can people who are in the lobby can't view fights unless they're fighting.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is real.
There is no.
Golden
Yeah.
Fantasia is probably one of the most poverty fighting games to ever come out.
So, are we going to actually allow people to see the matches, or are you
Yes.
gonna be like,
Yeah.
okay? I mean, like, I mean, like for the stream though.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna have to do some fucking shenanigans because so unless we just want to do it since I'm the guy streaming, I'll have to be in every match. What will fucking have to happen is if you're playing and that means that somebody has to be streaming it on. Somebody has to be able to fucking stream it from Discord. Otherwise, there'll just be nothing on stream.
I mean, for this, we could probably just have you be in every match, unless there's an actual problem with that. I don't.
Well, like
for
it's
this,
worked before, but
because it would just be Orange versus all of us.
Yeah, we want to play against other people too.
Yeah, if it says so, I just figured like for this specific stream, it probably might be okay.
No, it'd be very fucking boring.
we've done this before. Like we can handle this. Well, no, just like you'll just have to. I hope you have a good connection.
I do.
You do, that's right. You got the good Wi-Fi now, yeah.
Fucking my shit.
Yeah.
The only person. Well, like here's the thing, right? Well, I mean, like in terms of connection, I think the majority of people should be fine. I think Rindy should be able to stream a match between her and B, and then like I believe maybe everyone else can stream. Also, I've seen B streams; they're fine for the most part. The few rare times.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only game where it messes up when I stream it.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
I have no idea why.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird.
So, here, this is gonna take a hot minute to get set up because it wasn't fucking registering my controller inputs. Just give me like.
Actually, I need to use the
1
restroom anyway, so like yeah, getting your questions kind of in order.
Cool. We are good to go. Yeah, get your questions in order. I'm gonna get a room ready. All that fun business, and I'll put up the stream so you guys can actually like look at stuff.
I think I have something I can start with, but I'll wait. Tell me whenever you're actually ready.
Yep. All right, here. So here it's pretty quiet. I'll make it like a smidgen louder.
I'm just kind of worried that part of it might have already been answered, or I might just miss that it was answered.
Oganetemo. So here, let's go ahead and make a lobby. So make a lobby. It's gonna be a private one. I forgot I named it. Man, I could be gaming.
Dude, I could be gaming.
Dude, I could be gaming. So here, 3 rounds. Yeah. All the usual stuff.
What is debug mode?
You can debug.
It's debug mode.
Great.
I don't know what that means.
You can just debug.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Access debug as a player.
So fun fact, despite the fact that this is a Japanese game, it does not know how to handle Japanese quotation marks, meaning that you will see my shit bug the fuck out. It's so funny.
You're gonna need to invite us.
Yeah, I gotta invite you guys. Just give me 1 second. Yep. Okay. Invite
Oh wow, you
B,
really did name it when I
invite
could
Joshi, invite Zaz.
You sound so shocked.
Man, I could be gaming.
Remember whenever we had gamer time as one of our things?
Mm-hmm.
I could be gaming.
Simpler times, okay? Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of fancy wording in your name, Orange.
So do you want me to like start now, or do you want to wait?
Oh no, go ahead.
We're
queued up and ready to
go. You have to click on the wait thing.
Yeah, click on the wait up so you can get your turn in. Alrighty then.
Alright, so this might have already been answered, but what was the deal with the betrayal with Beato and Virgilia against Battler? Because like
that was entirely staged. That was entirely staged.
Wait, what do you mean by it was staged?
It was fake. It was not real.
Oh, nothing there was worth.
No.
It was all a trick
wait.
to get Battler to try and sign off on magic being real.
Oh
Okay,
wait.
so
Shit.
Disregarded.
I might have to actually hold on. I have to restart the.
Also,
Do you have
please
an
let
uncapped
them-
frame? Do you have an uncapped frame rate?
I have it on uncapped frame
Please let
rate.
them answer.
Hold on.
George
I have
was
to.
zooming.
I have to restart the fucking stream. Hold on a second.
Like, God, these people know. You might think you know, but these people know.
Yeah, the entire thing. The big magic battle, the betrayal, all that stuff was intentionally staged by Beatrice. Everything was faked. Nothing was real.
Okay, so wait, Con. So the thing where Beatrice is like trying to be remorseful, like that is an actual thing, right?
It's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. Like Beatrice is genuinely remorseful to a certain extent because of, she's more or less doing this to help Battler remember. So she is, but more to the point within the context of that particular episode, she is being more vulnerable with the intention of tricking Battler, yes.
Because I remember whenever I was watching that, like, my main thought is she switched to being remorseful really quick, and a part of me thought that seems kind of weird, but maybe it's just a writing thing. But then she goes into the betrayal, which made me think, oh, was it all a ruse?
Well, so here's the thing. When you get to the big, like, betrayal scene, actually, there's, like, sections of it, and you can also see it in the manga, where, like, Beatrice, like, has a very, like, regretful, like, expression. So some of it, like, was genuine, but, like, the initial plot of it, with, like, the initial thing, she was faking. But she didn't want to, quote unquote, win like that because it was kind of a lie. She wanted Battler to truly, like, remember.
And I guess one other extra thing we can actually mention about that very quickly is that in the manga, you see when Beatrice is regaining her form, she very briefly looks at her chest to see if she actually has one still. Because if Battler heard the truth that denies witches, she would probably end up being reformed as what she really looks like, quote unquote.
All right, that is my first question.
Well, okay, so moving on to the next person up. So that would be Chelly.
Okay, so this is my big one. So I might need like maybe 2 minutes to say it, if that's okay.
Okay.
2
I
minutes?
really want to understand the like big emotional connection that the people who have read this have with the story and the way it ended. When the entire final battle, where Angie reunites with her family, was all just a dream, and it didn't happen in real life. Is the entire point of the final battle supposed to be stopping Angie from killing herself? Because if it is, I'm perfectly okay with that. I've literally had to, stop an ex-girlfriend from committing suicide. The only big emotions I had was when Angie and Battler reunited because it was actually real. And then there was just more illusions, but like that part I thought was real. And finally, you said in this stream that the point is that delusions and just pretending everything's okay could help you deal with trauma. But personally, that horrifies me because, 3 years ago, my dad passed away. But the last thing anyone would have wanted was to pretend he was still alive.
Chelly, the point was not to pretend that these people are still alive. It's to hold them in your heart. Because
okay.
Even more than that, there's a very distinct point about the idea that, like, so long as people are still alive these people are still alive so long as you keep thinking about them and keeping them in your heart. Even more than that, it's the idea that these people mean a lot to you and that you cherish them for what you can kind of remember them as. It's not just about these people are alive as long as you think they are. That's not the point.
I think
that makes a lot more sense.
And even more than that, we have said fairly clearly that the meta stuff happens kind of. It's left ambiguous and up to your interpretation, because if they say outright that it's fake, then that seems like a lesser bit. So to that end, it's up to your own discretion to whether or not you believe that that's real or not. Personally, I believe that to a certain degree, the meta reality is real to a certain extent.
May I also make a quick interjection, because I think there might have been a misinterpretation. I don't think that he actually thought his family was there. I think that was just a remembering. I don't think he actually believed they were there.
Well, it's Battler finally going away, and Toya's finally his own person.
It's the concept of Battler.
Yeah, Battler is no longer.
Yeah, and absolutely, I absolutely do keep my dad in my heart, so I can totally understand.
Yeah.
And also, just the story. Just the story overall does, like, repeatedly say, like, especially towards the end, like, constantly going into, like, a fantasy or, like, avoiding your problems or denying them is a problem. Like, you can do it to, like, get through a day or, like, whatever, because sometimes you just need to get through the day. Whatever keeps you going, but doing it consistently will cause issues somewhere down the line.
Oh god, why are their eyes like that?
That's just how the art style is.
It's not that bad.
GF is pretty good.
But we are, but it is getting halfway to 12, so we should probably move to the next person. I imagine.
Robu, what's your question? And get into the ready position.
Okay, so my big question is the Golden Land some kind of representation of heaven or an afterlife?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Pretty straightforward.
No, I didn't even think of that.
In Orange's words, that exit known as paradise.
I'm sorry, their eyes just caught me off guard.
But yeah, Golden Land is essentially the afterlife in this circumstance.
Wait, is it just Lucifer in this, or is it like she with the sisters?
Just,
It's
just
just,
Lucifer.
but she can summon the sisters.
Angie and Beatrice use all the sisters in their abilities.
Yep.
Some of their abilities.
All right, should we? Or do you got any more? I mean, is there any more to that reboot, or is the next person?
Yeah, that's my question for now.
Con.
Okay. I've actually been wondering this for a while. While you were reading our answers and going through our discussions and everything, how close were you thinking each of us were getting? At least to solving not only the one mystery we were talking about at the time, but the overarching mystery.
I mean, the deal with like Sayo.
Yes.
I don't think anybody was like close to figuring out Sayo.
No, you want B's grades for the papers.
Yeah, I kinda do, actually.
Oh shit, no, I was not. Let me see.
I know there were instances where you guys were close to figuring out the mystery to specific episodes. But I don't have any off the top of my head.
I have some notes somewhere.
I might have discovered the whole identity of, the three characters because what Bone said that, they might be just switching off places or switching clothes.
I think Sim said that.
Bone, it was you who said that. You kind of forgot, but I kind of remembered what you said. It basically made me have that theory that was kind of correct.
Did I say that? Maybe. Oh wait, wasn't that was that episode 2 or 3?
I think it was episode 3.
Yeah, because Sim mentioned them being different characters. I might have mentioned them switching clothing. I don't know.
So, is that a question that can be answered right now, or...?
You're asking for the grades to your papers. I have to find my notes for it, so I will get to that specifically.
Should we move on until?
Then could I
Yeah.
ask you a follow-up question?
Please ask a question about Umineko specifically.
Okay.
Gentlemen.
Wow, I don't really think I have any, honestly.
Wow. I mean, you can just state, say something.
Seriously, everything to me was all pretty straightforward, and I was just enjoying going along with the mystery and everything.
Alright then, Sim, go.
I'm not really the type to go ahead and start overthinking. The only other question I have is, what's Canon's down B?
What?
This isn't Smash.
Sorry. I meant to say, what's his super?
Are you comparing
is
a
that a
down
super?
B to a super?
No, he's using his meta. He's using the meta reality.
That's how
Alright,
you do
Sim.
this.
It's not even as fine.
Sure.
Oh no, these guys actually know how to fight, bro. I'm about to lose so bad.
You going to?
Also, I'm like, you know what? I want to change like some buttons around Golden Fantasia because the keyboard controls aren't great. I have to install a third-party program.
Wait, what?
You can fight me, Dean. I'm also very bad.
I mean,
Alright,
you can fight her if you guys match up.
Alright, Sim,
So
go.
what is... So
Guys.
This got answered. Why did Rudolph say he was gonna get killed in episode?
Because he believed that Kyrie was going to kill him.
Because
Kyrie fighting other people talk.
Kyrie would murder people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. In fact, still a whole baby.
All right, Josh here says someone has to fucking has to stream.
It'd probably be better if it was Joshy.
Interesting.
Alright, so, Crimson. I mean, unless Sim has more to that, I'm not sure.
No, that was the whole question.
Alright, Crimson, go.
Okay, what exactly was the crime that Rudolph actually implemented that basically caused him to have that financial problem? I thought it was some type of
Fraud.
Yes.
what type of fraud? Like IP fraud or something?
He's pulling some kind of Disney-related
He's
IP
always
fraud.
been a con man. Is basically like he just pulled a con. No offense.
It is not
con.
specified and it's not really relevant.
It's kind of asked for when I got my name like this anyway.
He's just always been a scammer, like out the gate.
Yep.
Okay, is it back to me?
These are pretty good sprites.
Yes.
Alright. In the flashback with I forget what the name they went by. It was a young Sayo. I don't think they had Sayo as a name, right?
They used the term Yasu to describe themselves. Yes.
Yasuo?
Yasu.
Yasu was a nickname they were given that they generally disliked but generally identify as.
We do not have a more accurate name for them at that point.
So this person was wait, was this like a fake reality? Just this is
No.
part of the other question.
This
Or
this was
actually
their
happened?
truth. This was the truth from their point of view.
Okay, so people were talking to Yasu and Shannon at the same time.
They were not, in fact. No one has addressed Shannon.
No one addressed
Only
Shannon?
only Yasu
Crimson,
did.
please. So nobody addressed Shannon at all?
No one addressed
Only
Shannon
only
that
later
entire stream.
on. Later in Yasu's life, Yasu quote unquote became Shannon, took on Shannon's role. At that point, people started referring to Shannon, but stopped referring to Yasu.
Okay,
Shannon
so
that,
it was an imaginary friend the whole time.
So Shannon is their holy name with on and whatnot. That was basically how Yasu wanted to be, like their ideal self at that time.
Yes.
Alright.
So you will notice there are some stuff that do hint at it, where other servants complain about why are all the rooms with two people, and then they have a room alone, even though supposedly they room with Shannon.
Uh-huh. Alright, do the other people here still have questions, actually?
Yes.
Yes.
Alright, cool.
I don't.
Alright,
I
I
guess
got
I'm going.
I got mine.
Okay,
I
moving
still
on.
have more, but go Shelley.
Okay, so throughout the adventures where Anji and Maria are talking to each other through the book, Maria keeps saying to Anji that she didn't feel unhappy because of how Rosa was abusing her. And then that comes into the final part where like the goat says, Rosa was a horrible mother, and then Rosa's like, that's not true. Is the idea that you're supposed to remember the best parts of people and not the worst parts of them.
For one, yes, on that last bit technically, but that's not necessarily the case. It's largely implied that that's what Angie's extrapolating based on the information that she's heard from outside sources, which was again largely another part of the points of episode 8. And even more than that, Maria did not explicitly write about how Rosa abused her in her diary, because Maria was a young, impressionable child and did not necessarily perceive that as abuse, and that she's somehow doing something wrong.
To a degree, also like Maria's magic was about deliberately deciding to remember her in that way, and actually not putting stuff down in a diary like this.
Yeah.
So that's not necessarily a good thing.
Well, yeah, of course, because
as a young child, these was the best she could do.
Yeah.
And it ended up being for
that.
the.
Alright, so wait, if I may build upon that, so do we not know if Rosa was an abusive mother?
No, we
she
know.
absolutely
We know.
was.
She absolutely was,
100%
100%. Yeah.
Yes.
But Angie doesn't know in that case. Is that the
Well,
idea?
it's more like even if you know that, it's more like it's less.
More
smart-
abundantly.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, you go. Yeah, it's fine.
Rosa did love Maria. Rosa had a lot of issues, but she did love Maria, and people saying stuff like that she killed her is more than what was actually.
All right, B, you're probably gonna have to stream.
Oh no! Wait.
Well,
I have utmost faith in you.
to be fair, like we're probably still mostly focusing on our words, so the stream
I'll
probably
try.
can be sacrificed.
Well, I
to
don't
an
have
extent.
sound on, so y'all gonna have to.
All right, so so
Let's
you
see.
done, Shelly? Do you have more there with that?
I'm done with that.
That's ready whenever you're
I
ready.
have more whenever I get.
All right,
Let's see.
Robo, do you have more?
Yes, I do.
All right, Robo, go.
Okay, so
At the bottom.
if Burncastle represents the more caustic or cruel theories of onlookers, what does Lambda?
They don't. Oh, what the fuck?
It's not what
can't-
really
Bro,
represents.
My streams
Well, yeah,
at the
no, they can
same time.
represent. They can represent the,
I mean-
the readers as well. Yeah,
I'm gonna get some
Yeah,
water.
for sure.
Bern is
Yeah, there
on
it
the
is.
most basic level. Bern is a representation of Feathering Scat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, like they could also represent the readers, both of them, because like
Mm.
they both
Mm.
wanted different things out of the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, oh wait, you know what? I should write down the 2 minutes. No.
There's a lot of like possible interpretations for how you can see a lambda. And
Did we
Bern and
pick
all
the
that kind
same
of business.
characters out?
No, you can see I picked
Oh my
everything.
god, that's just Miku colors, isn't it?
There is a Miku color scheme for her. Yes. Oh, here, hold on.
Oh, the rap.
Mm-hmm. Apologies, B does not have audio on for her game apparently.
Double air.
I told you I can't. It's very loud, and I just was not.
Understandable.
That's fine. We're doing Q&As.
Okay, so that bit. Okay, Roboots is taken care of. Khan doesn't have any more questions. Sim, what's your next question?
Was the cake slice in episode 8 actually important? Or are you gonna get the
Not
onion
in
no
the
matter what?
fucking slightest. It was very deliberately.
That's what I figured.
It was very deliberately a bit in which there was an almond in every single one of them, and Angie would just win. Angie and Ava would win regardless, because the point was that Ava did in fact care for Angie to a certain degree. It's just the issue of Ava was going through a lot, and Angie was also going through a lot, and it was just kind of like it kind of just became a caustic relationship by default.
Should we show the witch's Tanabata?
The Witch's Tanabata is an additional story, in which, for those of you who don't know, Tanabata is a specific holiday in Japan. Tanabata, yes. I'll give kind of the long and short of it for the people who don't really care about that too much. But there is a manga that is available for you to read it, and I suggest reading that also, because I'm not going to give that great of an explanation for it. But the long and short of it is that each of the witches go to visit somebody on Tanabata, and this one is considered like a secondary canon, because it doesn't necessarily contradict anything. It's just kind of a thing that happens. Is implied that Byrne goes to visit Angie when she is 6 years old after the death of her family. And is like, hey Angie, listen. You want your real parents to come back? You must never, ever, ever accept Ava as your mother. You can never, ever do that. You have to. You cannot smile at her once. You cannot show any ounce of compassion towards this woman.
You have to utterly reject her.
Completely and utterly reject her if you want your real parents to come back.
It was also based on the fact that making her think that Eva is the one that killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Also connected to it.
Wait, I'm sorry. Who told her that?
Byrne.
Byrne. This is not.
Quote unquote Byrne in a side story. It's not. Yes. It's not directly canonical, but it's secondary canon because nothing contradicts it, and there's no problem with it being canon. So take that with what you will.
Oh god, I just looked at our quizzes. I don't know how you gave me a D and not an F.
I have a very good
It's
question
because
for
it's the
B.
combination between the quizzes, your answers throughout the time, the big dick stream, all of the above.
Mm-hmm.
I have a quick follow-up question for B. Did you just eat a raw super from halfway across the stage?
No.
Super famous now.
That's what Angie can do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Angie's
super's wild, actually.
Yep.
All of her supers are wild, and her meta super is unblockable.
I blocked it already.
It's blockable.
Well, her meta super is unblockable.
Now it's blockable.
It's blockable. I literally did it 2 times.
I actually have another question I wanted to ask.
Well,
hold it off.
Yeah, keep the queue going. Crimson, do you have another question?
Can I switch with Con for right now?
Sure. Con, what's up?
Yeah, mine was actually just about the video game. Do these alternate skins have names?
No.
They are references.
That is Hatsune Miku.
What is Blue Will a reference to?
I don't know.
Kaito.
All right.
Kaito from Vocaloid.
Oh, okay. Crimson, what's your question?
Willard.
So Byrne, when she was trying to tell Leon about all the alternate possibilities of him barely existing and all that, was that just her just messing with him? Because
For the really quickly, Leon is non-binary. Please use they them.
Oh, sorry.
Damn. At least I got my super in.
Put some respect on them, man.
Sorry about that. I mean, when they were basically shown that they were the only possibility of them existing the way they are, is that just Byrne just messing with them after the whole fact that they were murdered
Let me fix
on that day?
Ostensibly, well, no, that was going literally just it was going to happen regardless anyway. There was never a possibility that that they were going to live properly, I guess the word is. Okay, cool, I can get back in now. Yay.
Even though that none of the bad stuff happened beforehand? Man, that sucks.
Yeah, no, Kirei just always fucking goes ham.
Kirei is always down for murder.
Mm-hmm. Always and forever.
Even in other possibilities of Leon existing and other possible
The possibility that Kirei does not commit murder is the possibility that Rudolph does not commit fuck shit.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that sucks.
His family sucks.
It does. They do.
They really do.
Let's go with these two.
All right,
It's
so
actually part of Sayo's motive besides everything going on with them. But they actually do have some contempt for most of the family minus the cousins.
Alright, so is it me again?
It is Bone again, yes, go ahead.
Alright, so Jessica and Natsui, this is going to go into the question. Jessica and Natsui live on Rokinjima, right?
Yes.
Alright, so how did the Shannon Cannon outfit switcheroo work so well?
So, I got you. So the main thing is first of all, the family conference, like this whole thing is only one time out of the year. They normally don't have that many servants around on the regular day. And also Genji makes the scheduling, so it's like basically you just have them schedule different days.
Alright, so they just had a good thing going on.
Yeah, they just had a good thing going on.
Genji was on their side.
That's actually
But she just does a little troll.
How the logistics of Shannon and Canon made sense.
I mean, there's a little bit of suspension of disbelief with the visuals,
She's also
obviously,
good at quick change.
but and being good at quick changing. As for the voice thing, I mean, Rindy thought I was a guy.
Yeah, it's certainly possible.
So you can do it.
Also, you would notice that Shannon can have very similar haircuts when you account for anime art style.
Also, Canon has a high voice anyways.
Yeah, Canon is voiced by a woman, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Canon is voiced by Yu Kobayashi. She's a voice actress very well known for doing male and female characters. Like
She's also Testament.
She's also Testament. She's also Maria from Maria Holic. Love it. You love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, you can just look it up now, Con. Now you're safe.
Yeah, let's go!
Yu Kobayashi.
You can look up all the spoilers.
Almost.
Almost?
There's
Not
one
the
last thing,
spoiler.
yeah. Saku's the last bit.
I do not play much Lando.
Don't look up Saku.
Alright.
I can do this though.
So next person?
Who's next?
Me? So throughout this entire time, I've been trying to figure out what is the actual motivation behind Burn Castell's actions.
She's bored.
Like, I've never really
She's
gotten
sadistic and evil.
I've never gotten a straight answer on it. So, is it just supposed to be like just pure malice and spite? Like, why does she want
You will
to
notice
have fictional Angie to commit suicide?
at the very end, Burn and Lambda basically go, next time you play the villain, so you can take of that what you wish.
Yeah, I mean, partially, like, antagonistic force, otherwise, like, they say, like, Virgilia says, I think in, like, episode 5 or 6 or whatever, that, like, this game would not, like, go the way, like, to come to a conclusion without, like, an antagonistic force. So there's partially for that. Should I go into the...
Good reason why Burn is doing what she's doing other than to be a villain?
If you go...
Are you talking about going into Burn?
Well, if you go by the in-universe explanation, it's that witches get bored, and they need to stave off the boredom or else they go insane. And that is general motivation in general.
That's the big one in Higurashi. If we want to slightly, for 2 seconds, dip into Higurashi, and it's the only time we're going to do this.
The theoretical idea of why they're there.
There's
the game is dying.
There's a theoretical about Sayo's whole thing of being a 1,000-year-old witch and having to wait this, that, and ever, forever for Battler and etc. When in the reality it was only those 6 years. Meanwhile, if you take Birkenstell, who is the amalgamation of a whole bunch of dead Rika supposedly.
Yeah.
You get this spiteful witch is like, what do you mean you're 1,000? Like, there could be some actual spite there if you want to take it there, but that's just, like I said, that's its own little side theory that people have. It's
not canon.
Yeah, that's not canon whatsoever, but
Sometimes
that is an
the manga
interpretation.
implies it could be true, but it's not hard on it.
She just happens to like saying Nipa in her youth.
They say something to the tune of Lambda was caught in a similar situation and she was able to survive by not thinking about how long she's been involved, and Rika did, and it broke her. she remembered every single time it happened, and that sort of deep despair created Berncastel.
Yeah, because like I remember early on, I had this idea that Rika, like Berncastel, was just corrupted Rika for a while, and Lambda was corrupted Sadako.
Yeah, no, Lambda's a bit more complicated.
The fans have a similar idea about that.
That's a negative.
Lambda's way more complicated than Berncastel.
Yeah.
Wait, Orange, is this the part where we explain Hotkey to Ruby?
No.
We don't talk about Hotkey to Ruby.
You
We
can
don't talk
tell
about
me,
any-
what is this name?
Do that.
Okay,
Let's do that
so-
off screen. Hold on.
That's a whole nother conversation. We don't
I'll
want
just
to-
type it up here.
There you go. But in game, it's witches be bored.
Oh, I just looked at the quiz and I got A-. Sweet.
I think that's just an A.
No,
that is just.
there's a minus.
Hold on, let me
Or
see.
no, yours is a minus.
I was reading it backwards.
Yeah, Colin got A minus. Him got A.
Oh, I got the highest grade apparently. Sweet.
Oh, okay.
Should we undeafen Rindy now?
Yeah, you can undeafen Rindy now.
Next question.
Okay, so we go over a lot of what characters represent, what demons represent what, but what do Deleanor and the Eisern Jungfrau represent?
Nox and Van Dyne specifically.
Concept of a mystery as opposed to a fantasy.
Remember, they're part of the SSVD, that is SS Van Dyne.
So they are a representation of Sayo being a nerd, right?
No,
I mean, they were
they
making a missing
were just a physical interpretation of the rules.
Yeah, the rules that she would obviously know because she's a nerd.
Yeah, because she made the thing a mystery.
Yeah. And these are pretty just well-known rules.
Yeah. Ronald.
Wow, calling me out.
You know that, right?
I don't know.
Oh, huh?
I don't know Crimson Descent.
What is he? Is he talking about the?
Eleanor's rules had to be slightly changed because of
Well, we know.
We know about the Chinese rule.
This is also not even the only change. In the game, it says there can be no hidden passages, but their original rule says there can be precisely one.
Yep.
Well, the
And
thing
there
is
is
because
one
there
in
can
the
be
video.
no hidden passages, plural. So there can be. It's the no homers rule.
That's what
You can have exactly one, but you can't have two.
It says no homers. We can have one.
Jesus.
They do indeed have one secret passageway in Umineko.
Wait, did they have a secret passage?
Yeah,
the
between
one from
Kuadorian and
Kuadorian.
yeah.
Oh, Kuadorian, yeah.
The one that Battler and Sayo took.
Alright, so,
Is it my turn then?
are we going to the next person?
Yes.
Why did Kumasawa and Dota not get aware the eagle?
So Koda, because he's new and he was hired by a Natsuhi and he's not like kin to a servant. Kumasawa, she's retired and then came back, but she's just as trusted regardless of whether she's wearing it or not.
Does she used to wear it?
I believe no.
She also directly
Yeah.
So gone. Yeah.
She directly raised like Kuadori and Beatrice. Like so, yeah. It's implied that she does.
Did she? Is there images of young Kumasawa? Maybe in a
No. You can only assume that maybe
Regalia.
Yeah, like some form of that might have been like accurate.
Because Genji looked exactly like Ronove.
Minus the mustache.
Well, he even had the mustache at one point.
Did he have a mustache in the mock?
Yeah, there's one point where they show him with the mustache a bit.
Oh yeah.
No homers.
Yeah, when him and Kinzo were sitting on that.
Oh, my ribs.
Alright, B, you and me.
Oh
Man,
hell.
this menu,
Alright,
man,
so
this menu has no fucking music.
are we going to Crimson?
No, yeah, I'm next. Yeah, I think I'm next.
Let me
What was I gonna say? Oh, right, it's about Beatrice's second and her mom. So, did anyone know exactly what happened with the first Beatrice and how she died? It was just because of the birth of the second one?
And she died from childbirth.
Yeah.
That's part of what led
Oh, wait, hold on. So
Kinzo
he
to
said-
believe in the
Wait, wait,
reincarnation
wait,
thing.
wait,
No?
wait.
Wait, hold on. You said the second Beatrice,
No,
right?
he said the mother of the second Beatrice.
Oh.
How
Yeah.
did he die after the the birth of the second one? Was it because
Just-
of the birth or someone else?
Just the birth.
And it was
believe
just
the
the labor
stated-
of childbirth was not well.
And that's part of why Kinzo believed second Beatrice was a reincarnation of her.
Golden Fantasia crashed.
Yeah.
No.
Poverty
I'm sorry.
game.
Tragic.
They really need to remake this game.
Yeah, it's
I
not
think
gonna
it's
happen.
your
Luck with that.
turn, though.
Not gonna happen.
So should I go next?
This is also like the third time they remade this game. This is like the third edition.
Golden Fantasia type Lumina.
This got two re-releases.
I mean, they do that with a lot of like Melty Blood also had like 3
Was
of them
Golden
too.
Fantasia just like a thing? Do we even know who
It
made it?
originally released on the Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did the game fucking crash for
Game
Yeah.
dead ass crashed. Yeah.
There is
Yeah,
from
we
what I've
will-
seen, apparently a manga based on Golden Fantasia, but it has apparently not been translated,
There's
or
a manga based on Golden
I
Fantasia.
can't
Are you,
find
are
it
you maybe
online.
thinking of Forgery XXX or whatever, the thing with Black Battler?
I've got it. Hold on.
Because it was really, I believe it was released at the same time as Golden Fantasia.
Okay, so hold on a second. So the queue is me, B, Zaz, and then Joshi. Okay, we'll go in that order.
Okay, so I guess I'll go now.
Oh wow, it does not want me to use this without without big picture mode on. Okay, hold on.
All right. Wait, should I hold on?
No, not you,
go.
not you.
All right,
Yeah, now you go.
So I forget which episode it was, but in one of the episodes, Kyrie is shut in. She's on the phone with Battler, and she's talking about how there's a golden arrow or whatever. I forget exactly what her thing was.
Oh,
But Battler was talking to two different people, right? That both
No.
said to believe.
It was just he talked to separate people, and he talked to Jessica and then Kyrie because they were both in on it. And in fact, in that specific scene, that was literally just Seiya was in the room with Ava at that point, and not Ava, Kyrie, and they were just like occasionally shooting the ground next to Kyrie to emphasize the fact that they're about to be killed.
All right. So what was?
And then she
Jessica
actually
saying?
shot.
What did Jessica say again on the phone?
Literally just I died, but I came back. You should believe in magic, Battler.
Oh wait. Okay, so she was in on it. You said.
Yes, everybody was in on it for episode 4 except for Battler.
Oh, well, everybody was in on it. All right.
Everybody
Okay.
except for
No.
Battler.
Do note, like, Jessica was indeed killed right afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So why were they trying to get him to believe in magic again?
Because the whole point of the story was for Battler to realize Beatrice's love for him, or rather Seio's love for Battler.
Oh right. You said that nothing happened. Like nothing. None of that was real, right? Or did I misremember?
Technically, no.
I thought you said.
Well,
none
no,
of that
like,
was
well, no.
real.
Technically speaking, those are all just different possibilities of the cat box. So they are mysteries that can be solved, but they aren't. They likely aren't what actually happens. As you bowing out.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh no.
All right, because I forgot that part that mentioned that everybody was. I just find it odd that they're telling him to believe in magic.
Wait, Randy, are you gonna play?
Oh wait, okay, because Sayo told them to tell him to believe in.
Maybe.
No, that shit. God.
You didn't hear
Okay,
something
this
bad,
is messing with my head. I'll just pass it off to the next guy.
Okay. So, in one of the parts, I think it was part 6, we get something that in order for a human to become a witch, they get thrown into some sort of hell, and then they have a, 1 in a bazillion chance event to get out of hell and become a witch. But, Maria and Angie don't have to do that. So, is it just because if you get an invitation and it's not becoming a witch in a vacuum, you don't have to deal with that?
How is metaphorical?
What the heck, Orange?
That is the 1,000 years of suffering that Beatrice went
Your name,
through.
like going.
It's just like that.
The 1,000 years that Beatrice went through are how painful the 6 years she waited for Battler were. So you don't need to. So from that you can extrapolate why Maria and Angie are also witches in the same way.
Oh, so it's not like you need to
It's not
In
literal.
the canon, you don't need to go through this miracle event to become a witch.
It's not literally.
Yo, do I hear Dream and Discharger?
types of witches, that you have to go through certain levels of being a witch.
I mean, there's also that part. Like there were like just 3 different like levels, but that's separate.
Yeah, if I remember it, Burn and Lambda Delta is like on the highest plane, and then the top one is Federation.
So if you
Yes.
had to go through like more suffering, you get to be a higher level of witch.
That's not. It's not that. The mechanics of that are not that precise.
Because Feather and
It's almost like the rules are made up and the points don't matter.
Okay.
Yeah. This is not the point, and it's not explored to that degree.
I only have one more question, so we can move on to the next person.
Oh, damn it.
Who's next?
Battle Sean.
Yeah, Robot.
I don't think I have any more questions right now.
Alright, Sim?
I guess it's me then.
God damn it.
It's kind of got answered already, but just to reiterate, why are Shannon and Cannon both in the same space with the point of view character in episode 8?
Because episode 8
There's
is like
illusions.
they're in the Golden Land.
Yeah, it's all magic. It doesn't matter.
It's all illusions.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Alright, me again, I guess. So Burn is a cat, right? Like that's the idea.
At least in real
That's a
life.
basic interpretation, yes.
And then this is part of the question. And what is Lambda again?
It's not clear.
Handy.
There are several interpretations.
Because I'm wondering like why they are very gay together, and what is the thing that connects the cat to Lambda?
Oh, they're friends.
In order to create
They're friendly
that?
like the above level of beyond Umineko.
They're
Is she
roommates.
just a cake that the
By
cat
God.
really liked eating?
By God, they were roommates.
They were roommates?
By God, were they roommates? They're gay! They're gay! That's all that matters! It's gay!
They're just girls being friends,
Okay, wait,
gals being
wait.
pals.
The Chasters are the rabbits.
Kanaka!
Yes. Yes.
Alright, are we done with the bit?
Oh!
I affirmed it, Bone. Yes, the Chesters are the rabbits and the guns.
God, please! Okay, so, yes, the Chasters are rabbits, the Runaway is Genji, in a way. And so I assume that Lambda is something, and I'm wondering, like, is there anything that connects the physical Lambda, to the cat that is Burn?
No, but if you wanted to connect her with a physical thing, it would be like the piece of paper that Sayo wrote, or the bomb.
She's paper. She's super paper.
Yeah, that or like the bombs.
The bomb.
So there is nothing connecting the cat Burn to whatever Lambda is a
Not
representation.
really.
Not
Because you can think of it in a different way. Instead of them being representations, like those things are the way they manifest in the grounded reality of Umineko, rather, if you want to think about it that way.
Like I
Alright.
said, they can also represent different types of readers of mysteries and stuff.
Alright,
People
so
that
it's
just want to
when-
see the answer, or people that want to see like the most messed up stuff.
So it's kind of just coincidental that she's the cat.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Is there Is there any reason though, like why she
You could
is the
say
cat?
it is metaphorical of her place as Featherin's servant, or as Featherin's pet, in of some ways, is representative
crashed
of
again.
that relationship.
God damn
Alright.
it. Just when Joshy got in.
Next person then.
Just one more. So, did Burn and the other witches play the Rokkenjima murder mystery for 100 years? How does that make sense?
Wait,
Like
what?
they just kept playing the games over and over. Like the City of Books has like billions of books of possible versions of a
No,
story.
no. Those are different stories.
Books otherwise.
Different stories.
But
Okay.
also there
Just
is like
couple
a ton of
stories.
there's a
But,
ton of
but
different
there is an
people.
implication that the game was played more than the 8th episode, which is kind of legal because there are a lot more possible fragments that were written down and weren't found.
I mean, also because
Yeah, like
there's
Burn
other
had to go
people.
through.
Hmm?
You go.
There's other people that are like on the internet and stuff, just making up their own thing.
Yeah.
And Burn had to go for like a billion different fragments to find Leon.
Yeah.
That's why I actually wanted to ask that question if there's any possibility of Leon living a happy life, but apparently no.
Well, according to Burn.
Tyrion will always murder.
only chose the worst possibility for him. I meant them.
Irie will always murder. Given a
Zaz
chance.
is up next. Zaz is up
Well,
next.
I guess we'll get to that in the future, technically.
Unless she gets hit by a truck before the family.
Well, unless Rudolph isn't a fucking bitch.
I mean, they could both be bad.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a hard ask.
Listen, once y'all get
Come on.
Alright, so next person?
Okay, I guess we're just going.
Well, I'm trying to join, but my
Goddamn,
controller's
I gotta
not
get
working
my
now.
ass kicked by Orange again.
It's fine. Instant replay.
Shelly, you went right.
Yeah, it was Shelly. So, Robinet, who is now deaf and...
Pick Erica so I can be Miku Erica.
Sure.
Oh yeah, Orange.
Stabby in the back.
Yeah, what's up?
Here, you said that you had a question you like to ask people when they get to the end of episode.
Oh,
6.
I literally
What was
just
it?
I literally just asked why can't Shannon and Cannon both be happy at the same time?
And they're the reason.
Which is kind of the obvious one. Yeah, it was a leading question.
Obvious question.
Well, no, it was a leading question for people who didn't quite understand the whole thing about them being the same person.
And it's because they're the same person. That's why they had to go through that, and they couldn't just both.
Mhm.
Well, they couldn't be with both George and Jessica.
Yeah.
I think.
And I'm
Something
guessing
that-
that nobody was willing to like put on a farce and like have like 3 of them together, and then like have Cannon and Shannon switch off as they wanted.
Especially, well, that would be especially difficult, and especially because George wants lots of children.
Well, fun fact about that: Ryukishi said in an interview that George would actually be okay with that.
Huh.
Yeah,
That whole
but Shannon doesn't feel that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And this is,
Channel
I mean,
feels
regardless,
broken.
it is incest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they also did. George was also unaware of
Yeah,
that.
that just
Cousins, that's right. I kind of
Yeah,
forgot
that
about
just
that part.
adds another layer of icing on the cake.
They're
Their
George
cousin.
and Jessica's aunt and uncle.
No, they're she is their cousin aunt.
Something about adding the 2 names.
Yeah, I know it's awful.
Oh, it's awful.
It's always awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cousins.
Yeah,
The quad-
it's that extra layer of creep, like when you see a cake.
Quadra and Beatrice.
The incest gazebo.
Quadra and Beatrice is Yasu's sister mother.
This family is horrible. Like, now I have
Yeah.
more reason to call this family horrible.
I mean,
He doesn't even say it with a straight face.
the incest is mostly Kinzo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kenzo caused half of it, and then the other family members caused the other horribleness.
I mean, George getting with them is still incest.
I mean, George didn't know.
But George didn't
None of them know.
Literally, and none of them know except for Shannon, who suffers the most from having to know.
Yeah, they have a mental
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Sayo has a mental breakdown.
So whenever you say though that when you say like Ryukishi said like, oh yeah, he'd be down for it, it's like what does
No.
what?
It means he'll be fine with Shannon not being capable of bearing children.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant being in like some weird polyamorous relationship. Okay.
No, the whole children thing.
Also, it's very illegal in Japan to do that. Very illegal.
It's illegal.
His family doesn't want to
It's
do
illegal
it.
in most places.
Okay, I misunderstood part of it.
Yeah, it's
okay,
fine.
we're just talking over each other. This is real fun, but we're all fun to go.
Okay, it's not
You think.
me. Did Crimson go? Wait, I forget.
Is Crimson done? I thought Crimson was done.
I was pretty much done, but I was just clarifying the point about one thing.
Alright, so,
Sure.
I guess that's me then. Okay, yeah, I have 2 more, so, so is there any physical reality to Willard at all, or is he just another, like, Burn Castle kind of figment?
He's a magic character.
He's a manifestation of
It's
the
not-
rules.
Well,
Van
it's
Dyne.
kinda. There is this bit of an implication that he's sort of like an idealized version of Battler, which is why it looks like that. But it's not. It's not really concrete.
He could be Battler, but good.
It feels like there was supposed to be more with Will and Leon, and it got cut.
Because it feels weird, like,
They really like playing badminton.
because it feels kind of like another.
Now I'm just thinking of that meme where it's just that one person who says, "Who
Shut
are
up.
you?" And
Anyway, so what was
"Who
Bone?
you?"
What was
but
Bone
better.
saying?
Han, please. So because he feels like another Erica type character, where because
Did it
like
crash?
characters interacted with Willard in that alternate like history kind of thing. And so like people interacted with Erica, and Erica was supposedly a real person that quote unquote may have been on the island.
Technically, all of episode 7 is just a framing mechanism.
Yeah, episode 7 isn't quite. Is episode 7 even really a forgery? I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
So it's not. It's not even like it's a possible story. It is a framing device.
Framing mechanism for Byrne to explain to Featherin how everything works in a narrative format.
Okay, so then it's not even a thing like that people were looking at like on the internet and stuff. I guess
Yeah.
in this
Oh,
world.
okay.
It's a cheat sheet.
All right, who's next?
Crashed.
It crashed again.
I'm fucking dying here. Like
Kidding about this game where, man.
Fantasia.
So
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so jank.
Okay, Shelly doesn't have a question. You said. What about you, Reboot?
Well, it's not really a question, but I'm just really, it's me realizing something. Jesus Christ, Jessica singing Pseudo Petan in front of Canon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit.
Pet.
I don't think it's supposed to carry beyond meaning.
It's not
Canon
supposed to,
did
but,
really
like,
like the song.
I find the irony funny.
Isn't
Also-
that entire thing extended to Who reference?
Yes.
Part of
It's all reference, yeah.
part of the idea of creating canon for Yasu was like, I am not good as a girl, so I'll try being a boy. So for canon, it wouldn't be a big deal, supposedly.
It's up for almost trans like allegories in like the early 2000s.
Ryukishi was very ahead of its time.
So, is that your thing, Robert?
Yeah. Really quickly, we're gonna give this like one more go. If it crashes again, I think we're just gonna call it, because this is getting ridiculous.
I've actually got one question.
Okay.
Is it safe to go ahead and just ship Battler and Cannon now?
You can.
Do whatever you want.
No, honest
Do whatever
honest
you
to
want,
God,
and don't let anyone stop
yeah.
you.
Honest to God,
I would like to point out.
Listen.
Pale and Red
As long as it's in the Golden Land, they're their own individual persons, and it doesn't matter.
Just question. Did they get the genitals fixed? Or are those still horribly mutilated?
We don't know the exact situation, but they were damaged in the accident.
Damn it, AC, don't ruin this for me!
Did you call me AC?
No, I'm saying that AC in the
Seriously,
chat.
AC.
ship people with whoever you want within the context of the Golden Land.
Alright, so, I guess that's Khan's question. Do, the other two?
Josh, you ready
I
up?
still have more questions, yeah.
Simbar? Alright.
Why is Leon's name pronounced Leon but spelled Lion?
As Kinzo.
English.
Kinzo doesn't.
Please let them talk.
Because Kinzo.
Because Kenzo, yeah.
Because it's Leon, like the name Leon, but lion, he likes lions. So the guards of the cathedral are lions.
Very golden animal.
God
Does
damn it.
Does anybody else have questions?
I still do.
Okay, so
yeah,
you can go,
So... Shit, let me get back to
Also, this discussion, I know we're doing
not-
the questions. Sorry, Bone. And we're doing these questions like for the stream, but like we can obviously talk about this outside of that. So.
Okay, actually, I have another two question, but I'll do the one for now. Could you tell us, like, what each person got right in their theories? Like,
Oh no.
No, that has been lost to fucking time.
Damn
That
it.
being said, there's been like
Search the Fight Club when you get into it.
I will say,
Technically, you can grade them yourself now.
I will say though,
Giving
Khan
myself
got
an
like
A+.
astoundingly
Nice.
close in a lot of situations and with a lot of really weird logic that doesn't make any sense.
Hooray! For once, being a weird thing.
Shannon has a bank account.
She does in fact have a bank account.
A whole bunch of rich people have bank accounts.
But like I think a bunch of people have bank accounts. Shannon's
including
bank
any
account.
servant who
And
needs
then
to have money.
I'm like, wait, what? What? Why? How did you reach the what?
Oh, for
Did direct deposit exist in the 80s?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because I would not relish having to get off an island to cash a check.
You remember wire transfer? You know what that is? You do it by the phone.
Yeah.
All right. So do we got the next question?
This is kind of a dumb question. But did it ever say if Shannon she can't bear children, but is she able to have sex?
No.
do not know.
That is not really a point of the story that many people consider.
Really come up.
I was just wondering because George may not be able to have kids, but he could.
I really think that's beside the point.
And also, that was like one of the big like stressors for Sayo, like with the whole marriage proposal thing and all that.
There are other ways.
There are other ways, but this is also like 1980s Japan, and you know.
Right.
Death. Dies at a sentence to death.
How did Will get his arm back?
Magic. Literally magic.
So they did just drop that whole subplot.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
And
pieces,
no,
in a
the
way.
Lambda picked him up and was like, here's your arm back.
The existence is not set in stone.
Look, 556 in the background! My beloved!
Alright, so the Crimson... Wait,
Can
was
you
that your thing,
re-invite me,
Sim?
Orange, when you get a moment?
Yeah,
That is the only questions I have. I'm done.
Did Sim go? You want?
Great equalizer is the
I went.
Alright, did Crimson
Des.
do some more? Alright, so I have another thing. Is Hachicho like concealing Toya?
No.
Battler? Like, is that illegal?
No, Battler deliberately did not want to be seen.
Yes.
Many-
Many has offered him several times to go
to the doctor.
In fact, he specifically mentioned that he went to the doctor a number of times about his condition.
Okay, I just feel like there's probably... I mean, I guess if you don't want to be known, it just feels like there's something in legality that...
He wasn't actively concealing him, he chose not to go.
Yeah, it was
Also,
completely voluntary on his part.
Because there was like a major crime that happened, and people could still be on the loose.
Also in the manga, so I don't think they confirm it in the VN. But via like when Hachijo and Toya wrote episode 3, because it was like Battler kind of like remembering, like he remembered that Ava was still like alive, and so at that time he thought she was the culprit. And when he ended up like writing, they ended up writing the quote-unquote episode 3 message bottle. Ava realized like somebody had to be alive who knew like the island in detail and etc. So Ava actually found them, which is also how Ikuko came to be in hold of Ava's diary later on.
Also, wait, is Kyrie? She's dead, right?
Kyrie is dead.
How did she die again?
She exploded. Got shot by Ava. Number 1 victory
She
royale.
got shot right in the throat by Ava.
By Ava,
Oh yeah, she
right,
couldn't
right,
even
right.
say what she was
I
going
have
to.
a question now. I have another question. What happened to the gold? It's still there.
It exploded.
It exploded.
It exploded.
That shit gone.
It's probably just it's probably in rubble.
It's likely in the ocean, where it will never be
Buried
found.
rubble in the ocean, disintegrated.
Exploded.
Wait, is the island not there now?
Well, no, there's a large
There
crater on the
was-
island.
There was a massive explosion. Everything on the surface was pretty much wiped.
The
Everything
island's
below,
still there. There's a
and-
huge ass crater.
They like so when Angie goes to the island in episode 4, they talk around the fact that there's nothing there quite a bit.
Oh yeah, now I just remembered
She looks off a cliff, and you don't actually see what she looks at.
So did the other people you guys still not have questions? You have more questions?
I still have questions.
Yeah, some.
Go for it.
What was somebody mentioned that episode 8 got rewrites at the last second.
So one thing was that I believe one of Ryukishi's friends passed away.
Rest
I
in
think that
peace,
was one
BT.
thing. Yes, that part was tragic. But I think another bit of it was that there was a much more direct version of episode 7 before, and then Unfortunately, a lot of transphobic people on Japanese 4chan were not happy with that answer, so there was a lot of rewrites near the end to make it a little bit more vague.
Oh, that's horrible.
Of course, Japanese 2chan strikes again.
Good old 2channel doing it again.
Oh, by the way, if you're
Yeah, and then look at our country.
Anyway, I guess I'll go again. Shit, I had it. Give me a second. Fuck, what I have, god damn it!
No rush, don't hurt yourself.
It's fine.
Yeah, wait, it'll come back to me. Just give me a hot second here. It was something involving Kyrie.
Oh, it's Josh in orange right now.
It's gone. It'll come back to me at some point. Sam, you can probably go again if you have
Oh,
more.
I can go get my fucking actual timeline chart.
I don't really have a whole lot left. So the Amakusa betrayal thing, was that a drop plot point, or was that just
fuck?
paranoid?
The whole thing with Angie's, like, various arcs, those are just a whole bunch of different possibilities of what could happen with Angie.
Okay, that actually reminded me what I was gonna say, but do you have more to that, Sam?
No.
Alright, so, whenever it did show, like, I think it was on part 4, I forget, but it's like Angie on the island, she's with the stakes, they're fucking up the Sumaderas. Is that just Amakusa fucking them up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's just sniping them?
Yep.
Alright, cool.
And since no one's there to say otherwise, we color it with magic.
And like, since Amakusa's actual betrayal was relegated to like the joke ending, my question is that was it like, did she just not want to write that as canon that Amakusa would betray her?
I mean,
the canon is that it never happened. You never reached that point, technically.
They never needed to betray him.
In the manga, it's like the trick ending happens first, and it's like a lot could have happened.
But
I could do that, but I choose not to.
I assume that just they didn't even need to betray Angie, just because she kind of gave them what they wanted.
And the trick ending, it's basically Angie assuming that they're going to.
Yeah, it's not
she really did
technically
just shoot the fuck
confirmed.
out of Kawabata, and he probably didn't do shit.
It is very much. It is implied, but it's very much not confirmed. It
Did
is
they-
her own interpretation.
But isn't there something that Amakusa is talking about? Like,
Yes,
about
it's very much implied.
Well, they're talking about killing Kasumi and stuff.
They're talking about dealing with a problem and about the sniper, about getting the sniper rifle for that purpose.
Because that
But
wasn't
it's very
like,
much not
in the
concrete.
magic world. Like that seemed like very.
Yeah, that
narrative.
scene technically was after where the truth ending happened, and technically did not happen at all.
Let's just say
Wait,
it's
if,
a fragment that never existed.
I'm not gonna say
shot
that.
Amakusa, then how did he snipe the Sumaderas when they accosted her?
That's a whole, like, so...
The truth ending splits off before Angie sets off on her own at all. So technically the truth, the reality, is that all of that never happened. She basically got rid of her name, and the Sumaderas couldn't really track her down, I guess.
Wait, wait. So if they did shoot, so if that was Amakusa gunning them down, and it being portrayed as the stakes, wouldn't they hear the gunshots, or did he have a silencer?
No, it's super far away.
Oh, he's just super far away.
Snipers,
It's a sniper.
yeah, like it sounds like you hear of a shot in movies, but if you're far enough away and if it's silent, you don't hear it.
Also, they're all dead. It's
I
not really
mean-
relevant.
Guns are pretty loud. You can hear them quite far.
I'm gonna
Also-
trust that they're going by the Hollywood.
Let's go.
But beyond that, they were all about to die, and as a result, we get Angie's version of the events. Basically, the magical version.
Right.
Remember, fucking Ava Beatrice shows up there too.
Says, "You want to get in queue?"
I mean, I
Oh,
just didn't know
actually,
it was her
it's
being
the
crazy.
hint of Ava Beatrice saying, like, very cool at the end. It's fucking Amakusa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm eating right now, so.
Oh, okay. Well then, B, you and me.
Oh shoot.
All right. So is there any more questions? Because I think that was my final one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since that world wasn't real, so that person who was wanting to kill Angie, so she's technically alive.
Well,
what?
Well,
wait, what?
I
Yeah,
guess,
she's
but-
alive in both endings.
She's alive in both endings. Yeah.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
Kasumi?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kasumi just fucked off. She was never important, or that important in the grand scheme of things.
I mean,
Like,
once.
you can only assume that she's just waiting on the island, and then old girl never showed up. So it's like, well, fuck.
Yeah. And the truth ending, good luck finding Angie, and good luck getting backing and support from the family when there's no even point to do so because she doesn't hold any more power.
Yeah, she's just out there serving somebody else some tea.
Well, no, she's writing books.
No, she isn't she like a major corporation owner or something?
She's writing about Sakataro.
She just fucks off, and then eventually, financially, they would assign a new owner the
What the fuck is going on?
Wait, what does Kasumi do again? Like for a living?
Be a crime owner. She owns the crime.
Okay, wait, I'm not gonna say that.
She's the head of She is a don of sorts.
Yeah, not quite Yakuza, but up there.
Alright, so did we get all our questions out? Oh, ignore that.
I guess.
Alright, I can finally go pee.
My leg!
There's like a cajillion fucking my inputs are so fucking delayed right now.
Why did Goda not get to do anything cool when everyone was fighting the goats?
Because he's a bitch.
Because he's
magical Goda chef.
Oh yeah, are you guys hitting the point where you guys don't run out of questions? Because there is the big after meme showcase.
Yeah, that's right. There's the meme showcase afterwards. Yeah.
Yes.
We do have to record a bit really quickly.
Yeah.
So there is a very predominant individual in the Umineko community named Flo Perfecto, and they made a lot of very funny memes about Umineko. So we will probably we will have a good ones, and we're going to have a funny little meme watch party together. It's gonna be great.
And then the finale will be that one meme video.
Is that the person who made that thing where like Jessica puts on a helmet and goes to space?
Yes, that one.
Also, additionally, heads up, they have spoilers for other When They Cry work.
Which is why we're going to do like a very curated way where we go through like
Also, fun fact. In addition to Rikushi Works, they also spoiler. They have a very huge meme that I appreciate, but it is a huge spoiler for Chapter 3 of Danganronpa 1.
Oh shit! The fucking whale. That's her super. That's cool.
So for people like Sim who have not played Danganronpa yet, we'll be avoiding those ones. There is one Danganronpa meme.
I appreciate it.
Because it has no spoilers other than...
Just post in the Danganronpa chat.
Other than it just tells you how a character is, which their introduction in chapter...
God damn it!
Well, luckily no other When They Cry matters, so I don't have to worry about
I'm so fucking sorry. Do you want to just like wait it? Do you want to just like wait it out so you can get the Toho move?
No Toho for you.
Yeah, you know. Okay, here. Switch over to Bernia. Or no, beat the shit out of me for a little bit. I implore you. I need you to kill me for a little bit.
So I have another. What is the deep lore significance to burnt castles and needle?
All right, your input's like really off right now. Anyways, you got enough. You got enough. You're good.
I know.
Switch over to Jessica. Switch over to Jess.
I know. I'm just joking.
Yeah. Do it again. Do it again. Yeah.
Yeah, Master Spawn.
Do it again.
And now I can actually watch the
Alright, now I'm gonna kick your ass. I win by default.
Hey, but you didn't win by death.
Yo,
Oh
I
my
just
God.
realized, Jesus Christ, these matches are long.
Yeah, they're really long.
It's because you have 3 health bars.
Okay, I think that's enough of Golden Fantasia for right now.
Oh, I figure it's the one match I watch.
Ooh, that's a lot of delay.
Alrighty then. Also, yeah, that shit was fucking cranked right then. But yeah, so that's going to do it for the, and I'm gonna, because the last time I get to say it justifiably, the oh yeah, very good, one more stream.
Despite that, we are doing another stream.
Well, we're doing one more Umineko thing, but it's not necessarily
It's not like...
It's not a stream?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a stream,
no,
it's
it's a
just-
stream. It's a stream. It's just, it's something else a little bit. Chili! Chili! Chili!
Dude, turn that off!
Oh my
Jesus
fucking
Christ,
god.
that wasn't on push to talk?
No.
Apparently
I can't believe the stream was
Oh my
TGT,
fucking
and then
god.
Joey just took the fucking shot,
I'm
assassinating
going
AC.
to
stop.
What the hell?
I am going to need to get this off of Twitch as
What's setting
fast
my
as fucking
alarm?
possible. Oh my god.
Copyright!
What's that? Kill us! Oh no, the lawyers!
What was it? I didn't even hear what
There
it
was some
was.
fucking copyrighted ass music that was popping over Chelly's microphone. Holy shit.
What was that?
Just download the mod as soon as possible.
I think it was an SAO theme. Oh, anyway,
Oh,
I
yeah,
really
that's
thought that I was on push to talk. I'm really sorry
Okay.
about it.
It's fine,
Hope I
it's
didn't
fine.
ruin your stream.
Okay, next question.
I
What
think
was
it has to be.
Yeah, I'm going to
It
assume
was
the
Ignite.
stream probably won't get nuked for that, but just in case.
Okay, so
Mhm.
second question. What the fuck was AC about to say before somebody muted him?
He already
He
said
was-
it.
I was making
It's a
making
thing
a
AC
joke.
said. Don't worry about it.
I already, and here's the thing, I already said it. It was just a JFK joke.
Alright, okay, we're going to wrap it up now.
Okay.
Phew. Alright. Good night, everybody. Thank you all very much for joining us. We will see you on Friday. Friday for the final Umineko stream. The actual final, for realsies this time, Umineko stream. 'cause it's-
Are we
just not
absolutely sure it's
very
gonna take
good.
one stream? and
I'm
not
pretty
two?
sure it was not that long of a read. I swear to God.
So, it's not that it's like it may be the last Umi stream, but it won't be the oh yeah very good last one.
Where we answer
It'll
all the
be
questions and explain
quite-
all the things.
It'll be quite something, but not
Mhm.
quite very good.
We're just back again when something cried, and it just so happened to be that something crying was also a seagull for just 2 seconds.
Alrighty then. That's it for the stream. Good night, everyone.
Bye, Nee.
Bye.